Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Good evening. Got a pre-roll coming up in just a few seconds. Welcome in, everybody. Tonight, in-depth relativity testing. Is everywhere it matters full of crap? We're going to find out tonight. Ads in 10 seconds. Hang on. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the show. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. What's going on? Welcome in. Thank you, guys. Listen, I'm not calling out everywhere it matters, okay? I mean, I kind of am. But not like super duper really. All right. Just in the way that's like, yo, matters. I think you're wrong and I think I'm right. That's it. That's the only thing that it's going to be. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into Twitching Trek. My name is UltimatDJz. Tonight, we're testing the effectiveness of the USS Relativity. Everywhere it matters caused quite a storm yesterday. People coming out of the woodwork. Actually, I guess it was Sunday, right? People coming out of the woodwork matters. Yeah. To tell me how wrong I am. All right, we've had buddy, we have had tons and tons and tons of messages telling me to sit down and indeed be wrong matters. I even got emails on this. Holy crap, DJ! Can't believe that you would be so mean to Everywhere It Matters. So mean to Everywhere It Matters. So tonight I'm going to prove that you're wrong. All right, I'm just kidding.
What were you mean?
DJ,
No,
what is wrong with you?
I know I'm a terrible person. No, in all fairness,
Matters. I have a question for Matters. When did Matters' mom get your email, DJ?
God. Listen, many mothers have my email. Okay, I'm just saying. Listen,
you are wrong. Just sit down and be wrong. You are wrong.
All right, let me jokingly and mostly seriously point out. Sunday was.
But don't open it, then
crazy.
later I can claim ignorance, right?
Sunday was crazy. I fully acknowledge that there is a right and a wrong way to use the USS Relativity. Tonight, we're going to demonstrate to you just, in fact, how powerful it is. By the way, I have full faith.
Big and right there. That's impressively large.
I have full faith and confidence that Matters is correct. I believe him to be correct. I have tested it myself. And by the way, this was all done before Sunday. When Matters was saying, hey, try this and do this, and we're kind of piecing this thing together. If you guys must know, and I'm not exactly sure, Tarpy, because I didn't go back through all the history of this, but if I'm not mistaken, this entire segment was spearheaded by you and Matters, right? Like you two basically came together and said, hey, listen, Relativity's been out, and it's pissing me off how people are using it. We need to show people how to use it, right? Like this has been a teaching topic for 2 weeks now. The last 2 weeks, the team has been prepping on this content, and I fully endorsed it from the beginning. I'm playing a little bit when I talk about challenging him, but this is something that the community has massively wrong, Matters, and it's going to be really interesting to actually put the teaching on screen tonight and show people the actual power of the Relativity.
I mean, it's not the first time. They should be used to that.
They should be used to the fact that Matters is right. Yeah, we had a ton of contributors and a ton of feedback on that episode. Tarpy, how long has this segment actually been in planning? It's been a couple of weeks.
Later I can claim ignorance, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a balance because this particular thing about the formatas has only been a couple days, but before that, it was people who were just unlocking it asking, how do I use the buffs? What buff do I use when? That kind of thing for both the Crenums and the formatas. So it's kind of built on itself, which is cool.
It is. This has taken on a life of its own. And you know what? I think it's great. I think it's phenomenal. A couple of things about this. Thank you for the bananas. I think that what is beautiful about this, all right, is that we have a mechanic in the game that is not super obvious, therefore not cookie cutter, okay? And B, that we, as a team, as a product, as Talking Trek, continue to find ways to be relevant to the broader player base, and that we've got stuff that we can teach you. So I'm really, really excited about our segment tonight. I've been organizing with my team. I've been talking about with my team here just a little bit ago, getting ready to get all this. And when I gave the instructions, truthfully, when I gave the instructions, I'm like, okay, all relativities. I don't care what tier they are. I want all relativities, and immediately I'm getting eyeballs. I'm getting question marks. Relativity. Wait, what? You mean the Reliant, or you mean, Crenshaw? No, I want relativities only. And so tonight, we are under the watchful eye of Everywhere It Matters as we present our scientific findings to you. We are going to go out. We've got tons of directives. We're going to start at the 50s. We're going to go to the 53s. We're going to go to the 57s. We're going to go to the 60s. I've got relativities ranging from tier 2 all the way to tier 10. And we've got buffs ready to go. We've got exocomps ready to go. We've got the ship abilities ready to go. We are indeed prepped. And Cruzito pointing out in chat, this is such an interesting mechanic that allows all levels of player participate in and contribute to their alliances, which is why we've picked up a range of relativities all the way from tier 2 to tier 10. So, Matters, let's jump right in. All right, welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you guys all being here. This is straight out of the Twitching Trek Laboratory tonight. We're going to get busy with the USS Relativity. Let's first start with the actual abilities of the Relativity. Matters, there are significant damage buffs here. Okay, there's damage buffs here against the Krenim invading entities. Those are not the formation armadas that we're going to be doing tonight. We are getting a loot bonus of encrypted intelligence against armadas, which are the formation armadas that we're going to do tonight. We are also getting research buffs and research abilities from this ship in the form of loot against formation armadas, as well as a couple of other abilities built in to the research tree, the Starship's research tree. As you head down here to the very, very end, we've got Krenim, Relativity, Krenim, shield mitigation. All right, I have that one maxed out. Real quick, Matters, if you can explain this particular research to the audience. We're going to go through the relativity-specific researches very quickly and what they do. This one, increasing the shield mitigation for the relativity against Krenim formation armadas. Is this an additive or a multiplicative? I mean, we know already that our shield mitigation formula by standard definition is 80-20. What does this research do?
It's additive. So what it does is it bumps you up to a 90-10 split. So as long as your shields stay up, you are effectively taking half the damage net that you would be without this ability.
Fantastic. So this is a very, very important research to take a look at here right up front. Also, very, very important is two rows right below that, increasing the shield health repair. I'm sensing a theme here, Matters, in that the shield health is a very, very important piece of how the relativity is going to perform. So we're talking the shield health repair for the relativity against Krenim formation armadas. Tell me, how do we judge shield health repair? Is this 30% per round? Is it of damage taken in the previous round? How do we gauge 30% shield health repair?
So this would be every round, your relativity is going to regenerate, including on the first round before it's even taking a hit. Its shield health is going to increase by 30% of whatever your shield health was at the start of battle.
Is this a net or a base
Net.
or this is a net, meaning that if I have 1 million shield health points, then at the start of battle, before round one even begins, my shield health bumps up to 1.3 million.
Yeah, 30%. Yeah, 1.3 million, and you'll get 300,000 every single round thereafter.
That is pretty significant. Right next to it, of course, we do have the Krenim formation damage that we talked about a couple of days ago. This one is generic. It's good for any ship, all right? But it includes the relativity. And this matters because it's a multi-1,000% damage boost, and we're already looking for additional damage boost against these particular targets. So this one not being relativity specific, it is important to note that. Right above that, we have relativity Krenim formation loot. This is increasing the temporal wreckage gained from Krenim formation armadas with the relativity. Can't understate this one as well, Matters. This is balancing out the ship's ability, right? Because we've got the reputation ability of the ship itself. This is basically another ship ability that is coming in and giving you that loot bonus specifically on the relativity that is not going to be present on any other ship. So if we were using a loot crew on any other ship, that this particular research is not going to apply. If we were going to consider using a loot crew on a relativity, Matters, is that a smart idea with this research?
It's like if you can easily destroy whatever you're attacking, then but not the next level up, then why not? You'll get a little bit more loot, but you're not going to get as much loot because it's going to be very diluted by this research. It's not going to be a net effect on the research.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, even if you ran a full loot crew, I think we've discovered this in the past, you're looking at right around 300%. If everything was full loot and full max, this right now, straight out the gate, is ops locked, all right? But this one for me and my ops level offering me 1,000%. So I could get a little bit more from a loot crew, but tonight we're going to be testing the power capabilities of the Relativity as we punch up. And there will be math on what the loot may look like if we decide to punch down. Matters, this was another thing that you were talking about. If you ran up against a 60 or a 63, you can earn a ton of loot, but can we earn more loot by using a loot crew and punching down? So we're going to take a look at both of those scenarios tonight as well. Let's take a look at the next column. This is very, very important. Increasing isolytic damage for the Relativity against Krenim formation armadas. Matters, tell me why this research is also important.
Well, this gives you a very large isolytic damage bonus for your Relativity. So it's definitely not unnoticeable for almost anybody. I don't think 100% is a big boost for most people. High G6 players may have around 400% already, which means this is going to give them another 20%, I guess, net, 25% net increase on top of that to their isolytic damage output, which is huge.
Absolutely.
That's
And we're
a
already
huge net increase.
It is. And we got to remember what isolytic does in and of itself, how it's calculated. Not only are we looking at the net percentage increase from this particular research plus all the other isolytics that we get, but also matters we are looking at that previous research that is giving us a multi-1,000% base damage boost. And we know that isolytic is calculated off of base and that final shot. So when we're looking at all of the damage, and we're going to formulate a really nice crew here in just a few moments, but what we're looking at is taking all the damage multipliers, okay? Then we're going to add hull breach, right? Then we're going to be adding criticals. And then once we get to that number, now we're adding isolytic matters. We're talking that the Relativity here against the Krenim formation armadas is an absolute slugger when it comes to damage output. All right. So we're going to be focusing on that. Also, we come up, we see this particular is invading entity apex barrier. Not going to be applicable tonight in our formation armada testing, but against the Krenim solo invading entities, this would actually get you some extra apex barrier here. Toby, thank you for the resub. What's going on? Welcome in. And then our last Relativity specific research is going to be, again, focusing very much on shield, increasing the shield health for the Relativity against Krenim formation armadas. This one probably matters, in my opinion, the least effective of all of these, but again, seeing the focus of shield, seeing the focus of shield regen and shield health, it's not surprising that this one is here. Probably a smaller net impact, but again, further bolstering the Relativity shields when it comes to the Krenim formation armadas. Is this, despite it being later in the tree, is this a more important research than some of the others that we've seen? And now that we're looking, the second part of that question matters, now that we're looking at this 4, 5, or 6 Relativity-based researches, can you rank those in importance for me, please?
Well, I wouldn't say it's more important than the other ones. The other ones are massively helpful. I mean, any additional shield health helps. And I want to put out to the community, if anyone's about to build the Relativity or just has and hasn't bothered going into this research, if you can just verify and double check if nobody else has already, I'm not 100% convinced that this isn't a net increase on shields. And if it is, it becomes much more powerful. But again, still, I don't think as powerful as the other of those 4 researches.
If you're taking a look at some of these other researches matters, and obviously, eventually, you're going to want to do them all. You're going to get the research currency to do them all. Lost In, thank you for your 10 gifted. Lost In setting records on this channel. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate you. If we're taking a look tonight during this Teaching Trek episode with these 6, actually it looks like 8 total Relativity-based researches, 6 of them specifically against formation armadas. How would you advise a player to approach these? There are, by the way, some prerequisites built in there. So don't think that you're going to go and max one before you even start on another. But if you were advising a player on the top 1, top 2, top 3 researches that they need to be focusing on when it comes to their relativity research loot, now that we're only 30 days in to the free-to-play relativity loop, how do you suggest players approach this research?
Well, the 4 gold ones, thankfully, are gimmies. They released those after the relativity came out and were ridiculously cheap, just to give the relativity some extra oomph against the formation armadas. They're like 10 particles or something like that. I can't remember how much, but it's basically just a free giveaway. So you can scoop those ones up pretty much with your very first pull. And it won't affect you getting any of the other ones. Once you have those 4 done, I would say the loot boost is the most important one in this tree, this sub-tree, we'll call it. Getting that loot boost up as high as you can for your ops is going to be the most important thing, to be able to get all that extra wreckage that you should be getting by sending your relativity. Otherwise, the relativity is just kind of a little bit of a tank, but it's not. There's no benefit to you for actually using it, and that's the main benefit of sending it over a different ship.
So
after that,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I mean after that, the only one that's really left is the damage.
The damage one, yeah.
Which still good, but as a base damage boost for all your ships and not being a net boost, it's last on the list for importance.
Okay, very good. So taking a look at the gold border, those were added later. You'll notice they do not have prerequisites as far as completion. There are still some level prerequisites in here, but as Matters points out, they are very inexpensive and were designed to just add value to the USS Relativity. Now, there's a couple of other things that I want to take a look at real quick before we start to crew. Other things that are going to impact our ability to fight against these things, and that would be some of the favors that we're going to find. And I believe we're going to find those favors. Oh, for the love of Pete, tell me where we're going to find the favors.
DTI store?
Is it DTI? I was looking for it. Crenum.
Everything Crenum is DTI.
All right, encrypted intelligence. Yeah, here, this one. Okay. So, couple of favors that we want to take a look at. Yeah, I skimmed right over them, guys. Sorry about that. Couple of favors that we want to look at as well. Tarpy, this came back to a question that you had asked during the last podcast about a relativity and multiple states being applied to a target. We talked about that on Sunday. I want to clarify on this again because I actually made an incorrect statement regarding these specific favors. I said that they were specific to invading entities. They're actually not. All right. I came back and double checked these. These are not. So when we take a look at quantum static disruption, this says that it increases base damage when the opponent has the static state. We're going to talk about the states here in just a moment, but do note that this does not indicate an invading entity or a formation armada, okay? It just indicates about having said state. So we're going to talk about that here in just a moment. Same thing on quantum charge dispersion, increasing the base damage when the opponent has the charged state, okay? So these are very, very important. Now, we come down and take a look at temporal material scanning. Matters, tell me, does this apply to Crenum formation armadas or specifically invading entities?
This one is specific to the invading entities.
You got it. The actual solos, okay? And that pretty much is it until you get to the very, very bottom. And now we see temporal flux countermeasures increasing base damage versus Crenum formation armadas. This is a 5-level favor, again, capping out at 2,500%, just like the previous damage, and also not specific to the relativity. So maxing the research and maxing this favor matters is now giving us a 5,000% damage boost against Krenim formation armada targets with any ship. And I think this is why. This is part of what Scopely has done to throw us off the scent. This applies to any ship. So if you take a Borg Cube down there, you take a G6 Rare or a G6 Epic, they're getting these same humongous damage bonuses against the formation targets. It's throwing some players off the scent.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely it is.
We've also got our final one down here, which does just say versus Krenim. This is against against invading entities and formation targets, increasing base isolytic defense, and of course defense, meaning that is going to help mitigate some of the isolytic damage that these targets are going to throw at us. All right, these are the summary. In the way, this is the summary in all of the research that is available surrounding general ships, the Relativity, and Krenim formation and invading entities. All right, there's three places. One is the ship and its tier and ability, then DTI favors, and then the starship's research tree. What we're going to do matters. We're gonna do a lot of information packed into a very short period of time tonight, guys. So bear with me, and I'll be watching your chat for questions. Matters, knowing that we've got all of this damage boost. Knowing that we've got loot boost in research, how would you recommend a player crew for a Krenim formation armada?
My go-to is because of the focus on shields and shield mitigation and shield regen is to run Janeway, like a Janeway Dr. Gwen, to boost your shield mitigation even more, getting it up to 100 in only a shot or two, because you're starting at 90, and then both Janeway's officer ability and Gwen's are isolytic cascade, which is going to be multiplicative cascade bonus or isolytic bonus on top of that research that the Relativity gets.
Absolutely. Pointing out that we saw the damage increases from favor and research totaling 5,000 against Krenim formation armada targets. And we just kind of walked through what the pace of damage calculation looks like. You've got base first. Then we're going to be looking at the increase of hull breach, and then hull breach, and then perhaps critical chance, and then looking at isolytic. And yeah, I didn't even think to specify cascade separate from isolytic, but all that matters, absolutely. So when we take a look at Janeway, what he has specifically pointed out is the captain's maneuver, giving us a 13% increase in our shield mitigation, and then we've got the synergy provided by the Doctor. Let me ask this question. When we talked about the shield mitigation that we saw just a little bit ago out of the favor, is Janeway absolutely necessary to obtain 100% shield mitigation? If Janeway's captain's maneuver is giving it to us and the research is giving it to us, then don't we need one or the other?
Well, I mean, like there's yes and no. I mean, what the final goal with the crew that I send is to get it to the point where you're not taking any hull damage at all, other than the first shot per round. So with Janeway, you're still taking 90% shield damage from that first shot, but then subsequent shots you're not taking any hull damage. It's a great way to be able to punch up when you have a ship that already natively has such high shield regen, and which can be added to with morale using Kim or Max Fortify to get another 30% on top.
Absolutely. And going to point out that the way that the formation armada targeting works is it will fire first, and it's going to throw a lot of shots. So there is value in this particular research, although using Janeway as a captain is going to put the majority of the value in this particular research right here into the first round. All right, because that basically is going to, as Matter said earlier, reduce the amount of impact of that first shot or that first weapon fire by about 50%, because it's throwing multiple shots. After that, you've got everything going to the shield through Janeway. But in that first round, all right, with that first shot, You absolutely want to do anything you can to mitigate anything extra. And I'm going to remind you that I'm using the word mitigate on purpose. We're talking about shield mitigation here, but anything that you can get rid of, including standard mitigation and or isolytic mitigation before you ever even look at your shield split, is absolutely going to matter. And I can absolutely guess that that is why the doctor is on the bridge. This is increasing your standard mitigation. This means that more of that damage is just bouncing off into space. And depending on what you look like, you could either also supplement the doctor with Tom Paris or walk McCoy under deck, but that is going to depend on a battle log. We're actually going to drop him out for this first test so that we can look at the battle log and see if the doctor is giving us enough. We could also, as we're seeing in the chat,
doctor requires you to be hit once before he activates his first shot.
I'm
So
sorry?
if you're talking about a first shot, the doctor requires you to be hit once before he activates his mitigation. So if you're talking about a first shot hit, he hasn't done anything, just like Janeway.
Well, and I'm going to point out, it's not necessarily even that first round or first shot, Karkin, but you have to be hit by a formation target, depending on whether or not you've got somebody else coming in. You've got a little, you've got you've got a team of 4 if you're trying to solo. You have to really consider that, because it could be round 2. It could be late in round 3 before the doctor ever even takes a proc. Who else would potentially be good there? As we talk about, Tom Paris would be great below deck. You've also got Walk McCoy. And I see some calls for Beer in the chat, taking a look at what Beer is going to do on the bridge when hit by an armada. He's increasing critical damage for 4 rounds. This is going to give you some more of that damage stack that we were talking about. Matters, you had specifically labeled the doctor there, but for the same reason that you're wanting to supplement Janeway with the research, we also have that same fear with the doctor. Are there any better solutions for the doctor there, or are you still comfortable leaving him up top?
If
And
you're
instead
punching
of
up
just-
against these targets with a group, they're going to have really high piercing, and you're going to have low mitigation. And depending on what ops you are and what your stats are underneath, Paris might not be enough to get it high enough. You may be taking 3-4 times as much damage as you otherwise could, even with Paris under decks. So I mean, it depends on the players themselves, where they are, who they are, and the level that they're hitting. But to be able to punch up as high as a group possibly can, I think it's a smart decision to get that constantly increasing mitigation from the doctor. And yes, it's possible that because they only have 4 shots per round, that someone's not going to get shot at all in 2 rounds, and they're going to lose the doctor's bonus. But there's nothing saying you can't have the doctor on the bridge and Paris below deck at the same time.
Absolutely. The other item in the chat that is running right now is taking a look at potentially, as you're discussing defensive mitigation and defensive measures here. Also, there's a lot of chat hollering about offensive capabilities, extra shots, and looking at extra piercing or Tolly for his reduction of the enemy's mitigation. I like the idea of extra shots there as well. Matters, you have chosen a balance between defense and offense, really primarily kind of focusing on the defensive measures when you talk about Janeway's shield repair, and then, of course, the Cascade provided by Gwen and Janeway's officer ability, but then using Janeway's captain's maneuver and the doctor as your defensive measure. Have you done any testing or feel like there is a benefit to be had by going full offense and running extra shots, something like a Cisco Tolra Gwen or a Cisco Tolly? Is there any balance there that you have found might be better if you're running full offense?
Putting too much into offense is always a risky maneuver, because you're leaving a level of what the outcome is going to be up to RNG. Everyone can max out their number of shots, but if you aren't careful to also make sure you're increasing survivability enough, you might do fine for 3 armadas in a row, but then on the 4th, someone's going to get focused fire from the armada and die too fast, and then someone else will, and everyone will drop like flies, and you'll fail one at a time. It's important to make sure everyone stays alive for as long as possible to keep that spread of the shots in between the players instead of one person taking all of it.
My question.
Sorry, a lot of noise there, and Putz, I removed you from the room there. Sorry, I don't know what was happening there, so apologize. All right, so what we're going to look at here is we're going to run with Matters. This is his teaching segment. After all, we're going to start with Matters crew, Janeway, Dr. Gwen. Below deck, we're obviously going to focus on morale. That is absolutely incredibly important here, especially coupled with Fleet Commander Kirk, because, again, shield matters greatly with the USS Relativity. So, and then, of course, damage also mattering. So morale going to give us that damage boost, and there's also some morale-based abilities in there for our shield. We are going damage there with BLT. That's getting us our hull breach. And we've got Vielle here, I believe, looking at our crit build. These are the three. And then you had also suggested possibly looking at some extra mitigation. What is the order of priority for you, Matters, when you're looking below deck ability stack?
Definitely making sure that you have Kim and Torres on there is key. So I'm happy to see that you have them on there first. After that, again, it depends on the individual, depending on where you are in the game and what other bonuses you have. Most people probably are going to want to use Vielle for the crit damage increase. Whereas some people just have these days enough crit damage or crit chance, even without any officers, that they barely ever don't land a crit. So certain people don't even need to use Vielle or Hugh ever in their game, even though they keep using them. Lastly, with only four slots available, I would put in pick Hugh over Paris. Yeah, I did mention that adding Paris to the dock can be a smart move, just to help shrug off that damage in case you don't get shot for a couple rounds. But odds are that you will be shot in most rounds, and if not, it's very likely you'll be shot within every 2 rounds. So the hull regen from Pick Hugh is going to end up being a lot more helpful to staying alive than that little bit of more mitigation.
All right. So we've got a basic crew. Now, I do want to answer this question. I see in the chat, why not take a look at Neelix for burning? And that is definitely not a bad thing. I am going to remind you that this is a team target. So if you had a little extra flexibility, or if you wanted a little extra coordination there, you could obviously stack up all the abilities that you want to make sure that you've got. But you also could say, hey, listen, maybe somebody else can bring Neelix. Maybe somebody else can bring, your starter. Make sure that the starter has hull breach, has BLT. That way you know that all of the subsequent players are going to have hull breach. This is going back to the olden days of group armada targets and formation armadas, in which you don't have to bring, as an individual, you don't have to bring every single ability that you want to fire here, okay? This is also potentially going to raise that question of whether or not officers like Changeling Kira are going to come into play, or 6 of 11 in some cases, although that's pretty antiquated. But again, officers that affect the target are going to affect the target for the team in proc order. TJ says, I do prefer crewing everything just to be safe, and I'm the same way. And a lot of you will be. And if you want to keep it simpler, TJ, then that is kind of the answer that you're going to want to do there, is just make sure that you've got everything that you want to bring, so that everything is there and can make sure that you've got all the abilities that you want to bring. All right. As you guys have seen on my screen, I am flying a tier 7 Relativity. I'm level 35. I've got 4 weapons. I do not have any of the other abilities. I know that the next one that Matters would tell me to focus on would, in fact, actually be these shields, probably followed up by the hull plating. And we'll eventually get to that stuff. I am not going to super huge worry about warp drive capability on this thing just yet because we're probably going to be starting with some of the smaller targets. So at this point now, I'm going to go ahead and head up north, and we're going to get our team together. I have prepped them that I want only relativities here tonight. And what we're going to do is just to kind of give an idea about what the capability of relativities are. All right. We are going to start with a very simple level 50. All right. So I'm going to open up my chat. I've got to bring my, I've got to open up and kind of coordinate with my team a little bit. Unless I have somebody in voice or who's paying. I think I saw JB in the chat. He can probably help me with coordination here a little bit. But
I'm here if you need me.
Karkin, beautiful. What I want to look at here, all right, is I'm going to run a leg, but I want the lowest possible relativities in this one. All right. I know that somebody said they had a tier 10.
Help with that then. Yeah.
What's that?
I can definitely help with that.
All right, very good. I saw that there was a couple of tier 2s, a couple of tier 3s in here. I'm not necessarily looking at, a tier 12 or a tier 10. So I would like to kind of start with a smaller group. I'm going to go ahead and start my timer because this is going to take 10 minutes. There are no speed ups for this thing yet. So I'm looking for the smallest ones that can come in. Now, I am still willing to in this case, support a team. I don't want to run more than 2 or 3 relativities here, so I don't want to fill them up, and I certainly don't want a tier 12 or a tier 10 here. What I want to do is kind of start. Andy, I get it. Go higher. That's not the point of today's teaching.
Because I wanted more balls.
He did want more balls. That is not the point. I'm not starting at a 63. We're starting at a 50 because I want to demonstrate the capability of this ship at low tiers. All right. And really, truthfully, I'm kind of being unfair about it, even at a tier 7. Free to play right now are going to be hovering between tier 4 and tier 5 if they have engaged with the loop perfectly. There could be some tier 3 out there. But as we were talking the other day on the podcast, mathematically speaking matters, 2 tier 3s can take out a level 50 leg. All right. I don't know if I've got tier 3s that I can dedicate to one leg here tonight for the purposes of testing, but this is what we're going to demonstrate, is that these legs can be taken out very, very easily. We are also going to run only relativities on the neutral leg. So I don't want any basic primary ships. I don't want any support boost. I don't want any of that stuff. I want only relativities, even on the neutral leg. Now, I want to come back and talk about states. Well, we've got about 8 minutes here. I want to talk about these states real quick, Matters, okay? Because what we were talking...
the bottom one, or...
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely. What we were talking about earlier with the favors, Matters, is that those favors will apply a damage boost against the Armada target if the state is present. The way that these states work is a little backwards from what we would think, all right? It's a little backwards from what might be considered common intuition. When we're looking at the static leg, okay, and we apply an anti-static shift, all right, what this actually means is that we are applying the state of charged, okay? This is a static node to apply the damage from a mechanical perspective. To apply the damage to this node, we are going to apply the state of charged. In the very beginning, that's how this thing was, and we convinced them not to try to muddy the water with that, okay? But the state of charged is applied when you pop the anti-static ability, okay? So that's why you would hit anti-static, all right? Anti-static is going to counter the static, but what it does mechanically is it applies charged, okay? So what this is going to do then is going to come in, we're going to check all of our prerequisites, it's going to come in here to our favors, and it's going to say, okay, this thing has the state of charged, so quantum charge dispersion is the factor, is the one that's going to apply here. Increased base damage when the opponent has the charged state. We're going to get 2,500% here. All right. Now, interestingly, if we were going to run with multiple armadas, and this is what we proved during the Krenum, the invading entity, is I've got somebody in this armada, and I can't even see who's in who. The way that they lay this thing out is kind of stupid. I see I've got TB. That's not even my leg. All right, let's go over to my leg. Crap, wrong ship.
Michael Knight started the bottom one. Where do you want me to go?
Well, we'll take a look at power here in just a second. I can't tell which one is Sack in. Okay, he's in that one over there.
Click on your pen.
I will in a
Click
second.
on the players.
Well, I
Okay.
want to see who I've got coming to mind. I'm the only one in mind, which we might stay, but I want to illustrate a point. So, Karkin, what do you? Let's see. We've got MK running a tier 3. That's great. So, Karkin, what do you got? A tier 3? Tier 4?
Yes, tier 3.
All right, I want you to
Tier 3.
join MK. All right, we've
Yeah.
got TB running a tier 4. That's great. And we've got Sack running a tier 2. That's beautiful. Love it. All right. And then I can run one. And you know what? For the sake, just in this case, unless we have anybody else, Karkin, that's coming up, tell JB he could join in mine. That'd be fine because we're not going to have any problem with my leg. I want to illustrate something here. Okay. Now, Sack and TB have both activated their abilities. They have activated the anti-static shift. Now, here's you a little bit of a tweaker trick. Okay, same thing that we learned with the invading entities. One of these has to be run. We take a look at the abilities of this static dreadnought. All right, equipped with a powerful cannon, the static dreadnought will increase their isolated damage cumulatively if the anti-static shift ability is not active. Okay? In other words, you've got to run the anti-static shift. What does anti-static shift do? It applies the state of charged. Okay? So we know that we've got an exocomp that's going to come into play here. Or not an exo, sorry, a favor that's going to come into play here. The other ability, the Krenum Temporal Core, provides additional isolated cascade, isolated defense, apex barrier for the duration of battle. It is not conditioned upon a state, meaning that is going to happen no matter what. Okay? You can't worry about it. It's going to happen. That's a fact. The only ability here matters that depends on a state is the Collider Cannon, that go-home death ray cannon. And it requires the state of charged or the anti-static shift. And that will proc a favor. Matters what happens if Sack or TB proc the other ability. Will it affect the Collider Cannon's ability?
No,
It will not.
The ability is not reliant on it having a particular state. It only turns off if they have a particular state. So it only turns off if it has charge. It doesn't turn back on if you also give it static.
Correct. What does happen if one of Sack or TB activate the other ability?
They will get a damage bonus based on their current level of that favor that we looked at in the DTI store.
Not even their current not even their damage bonus, okay? But everybody who fights it, all right? It affects the target. It puts the state of that target and applies that state. So everybody who goes to fire against that weapon, their favor is going to proc because the state is present, and they're going to get their damage bonus that affects their ship. That's right, Pirate. Every individual gets their own favor level, but the ability has to be triggered by applying the state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my team, either Sack or TB, only one, to activate the opposite ability. I want one of them to activate the anti-charged shift, which if it's anti-charged, what does it do? It applies the state of static. Okay? Now, over on my side, I've got JB, I've got myself. So I'm the leader. We are in the charged. I'm going to run the anti-charged shift, which is applying the state of static. And I'm going to have JB run the other one. JB is going to run anti-static, which is going to apply the state of charged. And we will all double up on our damage favors from the DTI store. Now, I'm not going to call this an exploit. All right, I'm not. I'm going to call this strategy because it was the same exact way with the invading entities. This is going to pack you with an extra 2,500% damage per shot, per ship, per weapon, per round. It's massive. It takes an already huge damage output, already a ship that has massive damage boosts, that has massive hull breach and critical, and then isolytic boost through favors and research, and cascade if you're going to crew it that way, and it's going to make this big old cannon even bigger.
Yep.
Now, I want to again point out, Samo, what's up? Okay, so we didn't get the job done with tier 3s and tier 4s, okay? Which is okay. That's okay. We had originally kind of said that we were looking for probably tier 5s, okay? So we didn't quite get the job done. Karkin, what I would like to see, if it's possible, because I'm not going to be able to see this, I would like to see some of the logs, all right? Karkin, you were down in the neutral leg. All right. I'd like to see how you guys fared. Did you get half? Did you get 75%? Did you get 10%? How did you guys do? And again, reminder and pointing out, the neutral leg didn't need any abilities. I want to show you this. The neutral leg didn't need any abilities, but what could we have done to get extra damage?
Evaded them anyway.
We had just the two people. We got it down, shields down, and we got 1/4 of the health off. So 3/4 was left.
Perfect. Okay, this is good. Now, I want to run the exact same test again. I want to run the exact same test. Okay? This time we're going to shift around a little bit on the static leg. By the way, who ran the static leg? That was TB and MK, right? TB, I see you in voice chat as well. MK, I don't think is here, but TB, if you would just throw out a number in chat, how much of the hull did you guys strip out? Because you guys did run 2 different boosts. Okay? So you guys did run 2 different boosts. I'd like to see how close we were. JB says they took out 20% or they had 20% remaining, because golly, that would be close. That would be really, really close if that's how it went. I'd just like to see. Tall Bear took off 10. You had 90 left. So you guys performed about the same as the neutral leg. Okay. Now, I do want to remind you, one of the claims that we had made on Sunday matters. In all fairness, we were talking about teams of 4. All right. We did talk about teams of 4 with the tier 3s. So if we had a tier 4 and a tier 2, and those were the only 2. So we knew we were coming into this thing a little weak. Karkin, do we have enough people to bring in extra relativities at that low tier mark? Do we have any extra tier 3s or tier 4s that we can formulate a team of 4 for Tall Bear?
Aside from I think that if we had them, they would have showed up for that one. If we had anyone more, I think people have higher relativities at this moment, chomping at the bits, ready to look. But I don't know about the low ones.
Here's Thad with a tier 2. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start another. JB, you stick with me. We killed our leg. That's not what I'm worried about. Let's get MK and TB to run another. And this time, MK. Am I getting the teams confused? Because there's Sack. Wasn't he in on one or no?
Sack was top right, wasn't he? He was in the top right.
Yeah, and he just started the south leg, so that's not helpful. Okay. Because I wanted to run the same teams and just add a couple of people in. So we've got TB, MK, who's going to go top right. Thad. You've got a tier 2. Here's Veska. Ooh, that's a big one. Ooh, tier 12. We're going to hang out on that one for just a minute. All right, we're going to hang out on that one for just a second. Here's Bill. Bill's got a tier 3. That's great. Let's stack this up a little bit. So we got Sack. We got Karkin. Let's add Bill to the south neutral leg. We're going to get Thad and MK back into the static leg.
TJ's got a good idea in chat there. If you're trying to figure out like what power is needed with smaller relativities, why not get that tier 12 to just solo the neutral leg? Then you've got more ships that you can shift around the top.
I like that. Okay. That's actually very, very good. Thank you, TJ. Appreciate that. Sack, you're going to have to stay down below. Karkin, let's get you. Is MK returning? If MK is returning, let's get Karkin and Bill to hop in the static leg. JB and I can hold down the charge leg. That wasn't a concern, and we'll leave Sack and Veska. Veska, go ahead and pop in on the neutral leg because, yeah, you can solo that one. And there's MK. So we got Veska and Sack popping down into the bottom. We got Karkin, MK, Bill, and we're going to end up with 5 up top. So one of you can get a freebie and join mine and JB's. All right? One of you take a freebie. Karkin, you join mine. We'll leave Bill, MK, Thad, and TB over here. Okay? Now, that's going to give us a tier 3. It's going to give us a tier 3. A tier 2, and a tier 4. I love that. That perfectly averages tier 3. All right. Again, I see Thad is already running the anti-static, so we need one person on that team to pop anti-charged, please. We've got both abilities already running on mine. And since Sack is running anti-charged, Veska, you can run anti-static if you like, because, again, you guys are going to get the damage boost down below. This is important to remember. The Armada doesn't need that ability. It does not need you to have an ability on. It's not going to cause you to fail. The reason we pop the abilities anyway is to remind you, again, that when you come back into the DTI store, you've got favors that depend on the state being active. All right? This is, depending on their level of favor, up to another 2,500 or 5,000% if you've got both of the states there. All right. Each state is going to get you 2,500%. If both states are present, just like in invading entities, it will give you 5,000% damage boost. And that is on top of the 2,500% that comes from the Starship's research tree. So now we're talking 7,500% damage boost just by running these abilities. Okay. Now, again, because Veska is down here in a tier 12, we're not going to worry about this one being lost. Okay. That's going to be a solo. JB and I are going to handle this one. Our focus is right over here on this static leg where we've got 4 young relativities, 2 tier 3s, a tier 2, and a tier 4. This is against a level 50. We've got both of the abilities firing, and we're going to take a quick peek at crews. We got the Janeway, Dr. Gwen, beautiful, perfect, love it. We've got Janeway, Dr. Gwen, great. Janeway, Dr. Gwen. So we're running good crews here. Janeway, Dr. Gwen. All right, fantastic. Just as a super secret little special helpful hint, Same rules apply to this as any other formation armada or regular armada in the past. If Tall Bear ran as the leader a Picard Beverly Gwen, that's sexy. Just throwing that out there. That's going to give that extra Gwen ability all the way down. That's just it, Mohican. Picard Beverly Gwen is better, but only on the leadership. You don't need to run it all the way down. Okay? Again, teaching you the mechanics of the game. Picard Beverly Gwen only belongs, if you're going to organize this a little bit more in depth, okay, then Picard Beverly Gwen only belongs on the starter ship. Because what that's going to do is give Gwen that extra bonus, that extra ability, but because of the other Gwens that are down line, they're going to retain that ability. That's called the Spock down bug. Funny enough, it's been present for 5 years in this game. You can't really call it a bug anymore. It is a mechanic. No, Ginmon, Spock down has never been patched. Well, that's not true. It was patched once for about, 3 months? And then it came back and never went away again. I would only imagine that was probably a complaint. When they did fix it, they were like, no, put it back. That's how it's been for years. And that is true. It was that way for years. All right? So, yeah, it was that way for years. And then, so you can't even really call it a bug anymore. Okay? Can't really even call it a bug anymore. All right? That's right. Free Spock! All right? So, if TB did want to and had time, TB could go back and pick up a crew of Picard Beverly Gwen, and that would supercharge his Gwens on his team down line. Okay? Not necessary. I don't want that. Okay, TB's going to do it. That's fine. That's fine. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Because, again, what I'm wanting to prove is that with both abilities, proper crewing, proper teamwork, that right here, even a level 50, even with tier 2s and tier 3s, you guys can take this thing out. All right? So we've got 4 of them. TB's going to go pick up Picard Beverly Gwen. He's the starter. When he comes back, he's going to reactivate his ability, just in case he forgets. Okay? When he comes back, he's going to reactivate that ability. And that is going to get us a very nice, young, but well-strategized crew on this level 50 leg. And then, if this works out really, really nice, then we're going to step it up with the same exact crew. Full-Dog says, what if somebody doesn't have Gwen? Janeway works the exact same way. All right? So, if you had the leader...
For doing Janeway and...
Yeah. If you had... Well, think about this, though. If you had the leader run Picard, Beverly, Janeway, then everybody down line ran Janeway, Doctor, Gwen if they had it. If one person didn't have Gwen, they could feed somebody else in there. 7 of 9 is good. Heck, Dejosh Torah is good for some extra shots. Khan for extra crit chance. I mean, you could, but Torah I think is a great option there. All right, Torah is going to be a really, really good option there. So, yeah, Gwen is the top tier. That's the S tier choice. But there are plenty of other choices. Okay? Vic says, can we bet Toy Mice on the one after this? No, not tonight. I'm not into betting on or against or shaming my team or anything. This is all about teaching tonight. All right? I know it would be fun, but I'm not. Listen, I am intentionally taking the youngest relativities on my team and trying to show how powerful they can be. I want to show my team that this can be done. TB, you're running late, buddy. Where you at? There you are. Oh, you're in the circle. Okay. It's his graphical bug. So he's here. He's in his circle. We've got all 4. He's got all 4. We've got both abilities, anti-charged, anti-static. And now TB, as the leader, is running Picard, Beverly, Gwen. That's going to supercharge all of his downline Gwens. Okay? All of the Gwens down line are going to get supercharged. So, we're going to be fine here. Vesca and Sack both have their abilities down here, which, again, is just providing an extra 5,000% damage boost. JB and I are going to be fine up here. Karkin is going to get his bonus ride here. All right? And we're going to be focused on this leg right here. They're going to do it, Matters. They're going to do it.
Look at all the cup holders this whale tail has. Is that a DVR?
Yes. All right. They got it. They got it. Boom goes the dynamite. And by the way, we did lose one. We lost no, there's MK, TB, Dirty Bird. We lost Bill. No, there's Bill. Okay, I don't remember who we lost. But we lost one. That was expected, Matters. Why? Remember the firing
because
pattern.
these things are so strong.
Yeah.
They've got a heavy DPR.
They do, but also they've got that. They fire
And you're
first.
punching way
They
up.
got that first weapon that's going to just gobsmack you. Okay? Tall Bear says, look at here, guys. They won in 7 rounds. 7 rounds. Let's take a look at the health that these guys got left. He lost 5% health. He lost 5% health. Bill lost 5% health. So we had one sacrificial lamb that went home, and everybody else breezed through easy street. Okay? They breezed through easy street. So here's what we're going to do. Let's step it up, man. Let's now check out a 53. Okay? Warp range, not much harder. Okay? Warp range on that is going up. Another 90 or so. We can disco up if we need to. This level 53 system has a warp range.
I am so positive.
Of
I'm full of positive
280.
energy.
Guru says the one that gets shot first is going to lose on loot. Oh, no, that's not how this works.
Nope.
No, Guru. You don't have to survive the battle to get paid. Your team has to win. Your team just has to win. Nick, great question. Got an Alliance member who said the exocomps work on the formations. Is that the case? No. They do not. The exocomps do not work on the formations. Okay? That was how they were. I mean, truthfully, mechanically, they should. That's why that was what they had to sell the relativity with. But no, they are deactivated. Exocomps will not work on the formations. All right. So I'm going to go ahead again, just in the interest of time. Okay. In the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and start this next one. We got a 10-minute cooldown to get going here. But Guru, your team has to win. It's just like any other armada. All you got to do is win. And then it's going to be based on loot. So while we're waiting here, we're going to take a look at the last one that I got in. I had Karkin with me. I had JB. JB has wailed out on this ship, okay? So power-wise was not in my favor. I still hooked up on 1.35 million of the encrypted intelligence. That is my boost that is going to help. So just as a quick reminder, if I'm not mistaken, 1.35 million encrypted intelligence, it's basically 1-for-1 exchange, right? That's good for, what, 1 million? Yeah, that's good for 1 million reputation. All right, we picked up 2,700 temporal wreckage. We know, based on our chart, that that's not a heck of a lot, okay? As a matter of fact, the target that we just hit, well, wait a second. Golly, it says it had 1,900 at the base, but we had the loot bonus, okay? Now, 1,900 at the base, we had loot bonus, but still, even though JB's ship was 6 times bigger than mine, I still managed to come home with more than the base. That's the loot bonus part of it, okay? I would imagine if I am just spitballing, JB, I'm going to do some really, really loose math here. Let's see, element, and find my calculator. Okay, so 1,900 was the base. You had roughly 600% of the power. So let's say you had 6. Oh, can't do the math. You had, it looks like, approximately 80 to 85% of the power. Does that sound about right, chat? We could do this. The total power is 4.3. He had 3.6 of it. 3,
I don't think he had 80.
580. 5 by
was at
4,
least-
3, 4, 4, 708.
I'm just kidding.
He had 85% of the loot. So let's just spitball. He had 85% of the loot. We know that the loot table said it had 1,900. So we're going to multiply that by 1900, and then we're going to multiply that by 10. I'm going to spitball ballpark, JB, that you picked up on roughly 16,000. There it is. 19,000 temporal loot. All right, that was pretty daggone close. And by the way, that's because there's an extra research there. We talked about the research for the... He's got the research for the relativity, but there was also... No, the favor was just loot against invading entities. But there's also other research. He probably has the armada... What is that called? Salvager. That's giving a loot bonus.
Yeah.
There could be some artifact. And again, I'm also loosely rolling this math. But again, I mean, I wasn't that far off. He got 20,000 temporal stuff. That's right. The Lurpa. Didn't think about that. The Lurpa will have an impact there. Okay, absolutely.
You're also multiplying it by 10, which doesn't factor in the base 100% that everyone gets. So you should
That's right. It should be multiplying by 11 because it's 100 plus 1,000. So yeah, it's times 11. Yeah. Wait, what did I just do? Divided by 11 times 11 divided by 10 times 11.
I think
so there's 17.6.
Invading entities, though.
It may be. We're going to take a look.
Lurpa is invading entities only, so that doesn't factor.
So Lurpa didn't do it. We do have Armada Pillinger. Armada Pillinger will count. That does, because this is designated as an Armada. So anything, that's fine, JB. Anything that would boost Armada loot. Okay, yeah, that's invading entities only. So anything that's going to boost Armada loot. And there's a couple. All right, there's a couple. Shiz says, what is T-Rex? What is T-Rex? I don't know what T-Rex is. The Lurpa is invading entity only. That's what Matters just said. Temporal wreckage is formations only. That's correct. So that's what I'm saying. Pillager loot would count, and then if there's anything else that he's got natively based on his account, there's fleet commander abilities. You got to remember, this is an armada. And I know that there is loot bonuses in some of the fleet commanders. He didn't run dock below deck. He did not run dock below deck because he had dock on the bridge. But there could also be, there's going to be a few other bonuses in there. Long story short, we predicted 17.5. He got 19. All right, so we're pretty close on our math. All right. That was off of a level 50. That was off of a level 50. Okay. So we're going to punch up here to a level 53. We're going to run the exact same team. I got Kark and JB on mine, not worried about it. Veska and Sack down here, not worried about them. All right, they're going to be fine on their legs. Again, all eyes on this dream team here. Who started it? TB started it. He's running his fantastic damage output multiplier crew. All right. Everybody else should be running the same thing. We did not repair, so we're running it a little bit risky business, but that's fine. We only lost 5%. This is fine. We are still running with that same crew of 2 tier 3s, a tier 2, and a tier 4, now against the level 53. Okay? Very entry level. This is absolute proof positive. Absolute. Hey, Cottontail, thank you for the raid. Absolute proof positive that Matters and Wham and JP and Cruzito and Andy and all these guys talking about how this is research powered, exactly like the Stella. They're absolutely right. But it only works. It only works if everybody brings relativities. Even me over here with JB in mind, I got ganked on my loot. All right, I'm not earning great loot right now. I'm not, because I got a tier 12 in mine. Okay, so you got to. The idea is to keep it somewhat balanced, even still. This ship does have a wide berth in its damage, so you want to do your best at trying to keep it as close as you can. Otherwise, you're still going to have a loot imbalance problem. But you'll still get some loot. All right? You're still going to get some loot. And the loot bonus is still going to help more than if you had brought a Voyager or an NX-01. So we're going to run this one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
The big difference between this and the Stella and how they operate is the Stella is a G3 ship. You build it when you're a G3, and when it's maxed, it's still just a G3 ship. So
Yeah.
the power divide between the smallest Stella and the biggest Stella isn't massively different. So it's way easier to just say everybody sends Stellas and everybody's fine. With the Relativity, the loot boost is what makes it important that everybody sends relativities, but you also want to do your best. You can't always manage it, but do your best to try and keep relativities like DJz is doing that are relatively close to the same size.
Ice Wolf says, what if your relativity is still a tiny T6? Guys, guess what I'm doing here, Ice Wolf. Look. Okay, you might have just joined us. Guess what? Here's TB's list. TB is a tier 4. MK, tier 3. Thad, tier 2. And Bill, tier 3. We are demonstrating the power of this ship at the low tiers. All right. Ice Wolf says, wow, and it's still working. You bet. Listen, you have to go back and watch the beginning. We dove right in. There was no fluffer time today. We were like 15 minutes in and we were down to the science. So for the last hour, we've been chock full of data, math, tips, tricks. All right. Look, I've got these relativities running both abilities. That's weird. Why? All right. I teach all of that. This is why. These are baby relativities. And we're on a 53 level target, and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Now, I do see in chat, all right, Archer says, I'd rather just do the 70s. Okay, you can do that. I see Restive Process saying you should be able to solo a level 57. Well, we're going to keep bumping. We're going to keep bumping. I want to continue to show how well these things go. And then, yes, we are going to look at the solo process. That's where I'm going to have players like Vesca and JB, some of these larger guys, the tier 6s, the tier 8s, the tier 10s. They're going to help me out. Okay? Oh, so close. We didn't quite make it. So, 50, really, really good. And these were all young. All right? Hey, TB, tell me about it in the chat. We didn't quite get there. I'm going to hope that you guys got pretty daggone close. And by the way, the claim was the 50. We knew they were going to get the 50. The 53 was a push, and even then, that baby team took out 60% of hull and 100% of shields. Not too shabby. All right? So now we know that they can do it. Voltron says the 53 looks doable. Yeah, listen, if we rearrange this team now, all right, let's rearrange this team a little bit now. This is a great opportunity. You know what? I have another idea. It's okay, guys. It's all right. What's the next one? The 57? Now, let's diversify our power. Everybody repair. Let's diversify our power a little bit. Vesca, JB, and myself are each going to anchor a crew. We're each going to anchor one leg. We're going to let the baby relativities fill in all around us. And we're going to take out a 57 with all relativities. Okay? This is the next thing that I want to test. And I think we'll be successful. Okay? I think we'll be successful. Because, why? Because we know that some of these larger relativities can anchor these things. They can solo these things. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right? So, here's what I would like. Tall Bear, if you've got the directives, I'm going to have you start the same leg that you have been since you're already crewed with Picard Beverly. Down south, we can either get Karkin to start or Vesca can start. Okay? Either one. Doesn't really matter. And now let's spread this power around a little bit. Now, I am going to recall home because I'm the starter on mine. So I'm going to support my team, even though I don't need to. I'm going to teach proper. All right? I'm going to run a Picard Beverly Gwen on mine, so that my down lines who are running Gwen are going to get better results, and we're going to see them survive. Okay, we're going to see them survive. So we're going to run a Picard Beverly Gwen for me. I'm the leader of my leg. We're going to have TB do the same kind of thing. And it looks like Veska started the
That
south.
pleases me because I wanted more balls.
Obviously, we all love balls. Now, what we are going to do here, okay, is relativity only. And we're going to fill in. Let's just kind of balance the power. Let these guys kind of shift around, and I'll probably call a little bit of direction once I get up there. We're just going to shift the power around a little bit.
And it just makes all the balls slap against each other.
JB, I'm going to need you specifically to join Tall Bears, all right? Because that's going to leave Veska in one, me in one, and you in one, and we'll be anchors, okay? So you join Tall Bears, and we already see, look, he's ready to go, and beautiful. They both have the opposing abilities running, so great, fantastic. Thank you for that. I'm going to pop over into mine.
I swear to God, I'm dropping tags. I can't do it. We're
Come on.
morons.
They're
We're morons. All of us.
That's terrible to play tonight because we're actually doing really good right now. Come on, Lost In. We're doing really good right now. All right, so I'm in the charge.
It really whips the llama's ass.
I'm going to play the anti-charged right now. All right, and let's see. Thad, why don't you join mine, buddy, and then pop anti-static if you don't care. We've got Sack and Veska down below, MK and Preach. That's good. JB and TB. We're missing Bill. Let's get Bill back.
Leave your alliance. Your alliance is
My alliance is doing great tonight. My alliance is doing fantastic tonight. The biggest relativity is not on the neutral leg, but we do have a nice, beautiful tier 12 down there. Actually, that is our biggest relativity. That is our relativity. Oh, snap. We got a treasure train coming in. Holy smokes. You know what that means, Lost In? You know what a treasure train is? As if you needed any more motivation. A treasure train is once you get to hype train level 5, then all subs get 35% off after that. So when you get it's basically that same 35% off, but now we're getting an extension on it on our channel. Once we get to tier 5, then all gift subs are 35% off. Oh boy. It's gonna get crunky dunk in here. I have a feeling.
Where do you want me? I got creative, got my ship here. I had to rift.
Okay, no, this is great. This is great. Rifting is fine. Discoing is fine. That's fantastic because I want players to realize that they've got a little extra fighting power here. Okay. Now we saw the tier 2, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, or sorry, the tier 2, tier 3, tier 3, tier 4. It got over halfway on the 53. Now, JB is well developed. Oh boy, it's getting crunky dunk already. I'll read some thank yous here in a second. I've got a tier 10 in JB. I am a tier 8, I think is what I told you mine was. Is that right? Tier 8. I can't even click on my ship. Awesome. Tier 7. I'm a tier 7. And then we got Veska down here anchoring the neutral leg at tier 12. Bill, let me get you in whichever leg you want. Join TB's leg. I really would like one more player. Do we have one more?
Aside from me or me?
Where are you? Are you not in?
DJ,
I'm
what is
waiting
wrong with
to
you?
where do you want me?
I want you in mine, and Bill
Okay.
is in TB's. Fantastic. Thank you for the Humpy Turtles. You guys are beautiful with your Humpy Turtles. All right. Now, let's see. Who started south leg? Veska started south leg. Veska's running. Janeway, Dr. Gwen, which is completely fine. Again, with a tier 12, it's not going to matter at this level.
Oh my god.
Thank you for Humpy Turtle. Now,
No.
we're going to, so we've got a decent power distribution here, okay? We're going against the 57. I am up here with a tier 7. I got Karkin with a tier 3 and Thad with a tier 3, okay? Thad is running my opposite ability. Thank you for more Humpy Turtles. We are running both abilities on the charge leg. We've got both abilities on the static leg, and we got a nice big old fat anchor team down here on our neutral. All right? Oh, son of a bitch. This is where the teaching just flies off the rails here. All right, while we're waiting on our clock, thank you, Ice Wolf, Django, Lost In, Retro Fury, Papa Smurf, Broken Wolf, Lost In. Thank you guys for your bits. We're in a level 2. Once we hit level 5, all subs go 35% off. Who did Spinny Cat anyway? Oh, it's giving me chills already. Just thinking about it, saying its name gave me a chill down my spine.
Is it still free?
No, I don't think. Is it free?
It should be free.
No, then we played. Then it was. Yeah, I made it 100 bits. Thank you, Worf. Nah.
How much of this are you gonna like clip for a YouTube video?
Well, not while we're waiting here on the time. And honestly, I don't know. I'm going to send this. Listen, we've been an hour with heavy teaching. I'm going to send this to Griffin and see what. I'm going to send it to Griffin and see what he wants to pull out of it. But when I'm ready to go back to teaching, that's all right, Raj. When I'm ready to go back to teaching, I'll just turn off the sound. All right, sticker might show up, but I can at least turn off the sound. Okay.
Hey.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Uh-oh. What?
All right, it's a sticker party. 60 seconds. Let's go. All the stickers are free. All the stickers are free. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
All the Humpy Turtles.
All Humpy Turtles. Give me all the Humpy Turtles. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Humpy, 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 Humpy.
Can someone clip the Humpy from
No.
DJ, please? Why not? You're not proud of that?
No. Way too much music anyway.
Not right then, it wasn't.
Hey, what is happening? We lost one out of our south leg. Preach! Get back in the south leg. Preach! All right, fantastic. Thank you guys all. Appreciate that. This is going to make editing for teaching tonight super tough for Griffin. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We still have 48 seconds on the clock, and the sticker party's over. Okay, it's all fine. We'll clip. What? Why are they not going away?
That's what she said.
Hurry! We got 30 seconds left. They're going to clear out. I know, Don Zeno. Fantastic, right? All right, they're clearing. They're clearing. We still got 25 seconds. The party's just beginning. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Just for the purposes of video. See, I can turn them all off just like that. All right, 10 seconds on the clock. We've got our teams. 4 on the top right. A good, nice, solid 4 with an anchor down below. And then my team, which has got 3. We're going to be just fine. There goes everybody. Boom. And look how many people survived. Look, up top, all 4 of them survived. This was a 57. Now, they did take a little bit more damage, but that's okay. That's okay. They survived. Look, Veska was the only one that survived down south, but that makes a little bit of sense. I lost both of my team, but again, we're talking about having an anchor. Okay, that was a 57, guys. That was a 57. Now, this is probably about as far as I'm going to recommend with a real young team. Okay? So I want to run another experiment now. Okay? I want to run another experiment now. We're going to wait till this thing pops. All of my young guys, I want them to go home and recruit for loot. All of the baby relativities, I want you to go home and recruit for loot. JB and myself and Vesca, we are going to run our anchors. Okay? Cruzito, here's the problem. Yes, we could go a little bit higher, but then you're going to run into warp range problems. Okay? We just did a 57. Oh, we could try a 60.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, JB? Belay that. Let's try a 60. Belay that. Bring back combat crews. Rip to the 60. We're going to try one more here. Okay? We're going to go one more. This time I am going to go home. I'm going to repair. All right? I don't think Vesca probably needs to, but I'm a little bit on the weak side. So JB's probably fine. He's tier 10 and Vesca's certainly fine at tier 12. So, let's go to the level 60. Cruzito, I like the test. That's right. You only need one ship to survive. Only one ship has to survive. Okay? So, let's bring back that same young team. We're going to run an anchor in each of these 3 legs. And we're going to bring our young team back. Now, this system, the level 60, is as high as I'm going to go for the purposes of this teaching video. All right? Because next, the 63 bump is Warp 1000. So, if this test goes well, now I'm going to have my younger players switch over to loot. Okay? If I am going to assume that the level 60 is going to be, for the time being, my relative warp range cap for players on my team, then we're going to now start to support loot. Lost In is keeping this thing going. Lost In dropped 1,300 bits and 5 gifted to get you guys to a level 4 hype train. He's wanting you guys to get him to level 5. All right? Because once he gets to level 5, he gets his discount. All right? So just kind of pointing that out. You guys help him out a little bit. He just reset the clock. You guys help him out, get to 5 or 6, and then he's going to probably start doing stupid stuff for you. Okay? Just throwing that out there. That's certainly a possibility. I'm going to turn the alerts back on. Lost In, thank you for your 5. Appreciate that. Okay? Bacon says, I hope someone points out my highlighted message, which is this. My next question is, what if one of the lower ones ran the right crew to start the armada? How much does that change the ending result with the same group? Picard, Beverly, Gwen is always going to boost Gwen. Always. So it doesn't matter if a tier 1, a tier 2, you're boosting Gwen, not the ship. All right? You could have a tier 10 anchor running Picard, Janeway, Gwen. But if you've got a Picard, Beverly, Gwen in the starting spot, you're still boosting all of your Gwens downline. That's fine. That's completely fine. Okay? Guys, we are there. Thank you, Trickle. Thank you, Sniper. Thank you, Zero. Thank you, Silver Tab. Thank you, Django. And we are now into level 5, and now all subs are 35% off. All right? 35% off. Oh, there's a condition on it. Hold on. 35% off 5 or more gift subs during this specific train. So on 5 packs or higher, you're saving an additional 35% off. Guys, this is going to make it super cheap for you. Well, super cheap. Much cheaper for you guys to get a free pack out of me tonight if you guys are wanting to do something crazy. That's right, Shiz. Picard Beverly will boost all Gwens downline. Okay? All downline. Armada Control Center, and I don't think you're going to see much of an impact on that right now, Bacon Fish. We'll go take a look. Armada Control Center is just not really a huge factor anymore. We just talked about 7,500% worth of damage buffs in research, right? I don't think the ACC and its damage bonus, which is 100%, is probably not going to be. You're not going to see that. That's not in the noise. That is in the noise. It's. Prime Rex says, I forget, is it the starter that needs it or the biggest ship? Technically, the starter is the safest, Prime, because it will always be top line. The biggest ship will show up second. Well, the starred ships show up second in order of strength. So here's the order. Starter, starred ships in order of strength, unstarred ships in order of strength is how the order of operations goes. Okay? Starter, starred ships in order of power, unstarred ships in order of power. Okay? That's how that goes. Now, we're going to hop back on out here. We're going to check all of our abilities. I don't have my ability turned on, so we're going to go ahead and turn it on. I've got both abilities in mind now. I've got Karkin, Thad, and me. I've got a beautiful team of 4 up here running both abilities. That's great. And down here in the neutral leg, I've got Veska and Sack running the dueling abilities there. Macrack, thank you, dropping 5. And we got a nice, beautiful team of 4. Okay, got a nice, beautiful team of 4 down here. We got a nice, beautiful team of 4 up here. And then I got me, Thad, and Karkin, a nice, beautiful team of 3. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm the weak link here. Okay? Lost in unbelievable dude, bro. Wow. Dude, thank you. Ola, thank you. What's up? Welcome as a first-time chatter. Appreciate you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Lost in with the 25 bomb. Ola with the follow. Jongo dropping 10. Macrack, Fisty, Trickle, Sniper, all dropping 5 gifted. Thank you, guys. You're at 84 subs tonight. 16 away from another bonus stream, which is frightening. And you're into a level 8 with a fresh clock. 20% through level 8. You guys are very, very close to winning a free $100 pack tonight. And honestly, if you do it during this, it's going to be 35% cheaper. And don't forget, if you get to 11, it's another $100. You get to 12, it's another $100. And I'm going to point out that I am still coordinating with my contact, who I'm just recently found out is abroad. So a little bit more of a delay, but I have been promised, I've been guaranteed that all the packs are going to be paid this week. So again, list isn't final. So if we get to a level 13 hype train tonight, that's 4 more packs. And if you guys get them to me tonight, I can get them to you this week. All right. We haven't hit that cutoff yet. Haven't hit the cutoff yet. Sniper dropping 10. Thank you very much. That puts us 58% through level 8. Guys, once we hit 10, every level thereafter is another $100 pack. Okay? We got 3 minutes on our clock. What I was mentioning here just a second ago is that between all 3 of these legs, I'm not going to lie, I'm the weak leg in this armada now. Now, I'm not going to change it. Matters. I've got myself at tier 7. I've got a tier 2 with me and a tier 3 with me. Am I going to clear this leg?
Oh, what's your total power of your group right now? Am I muted?
No,
No.
I'm looking. I'm looking.
Oh,
Thank you, Lost in. For that next 20.
Lawson did
amazing.
another 20. Well, there's the bonus stream.
Yeah, he did.
And then it was 50 million.
How many bonus streams are you up to? Like 12?
No, it's not that high. I think we just now hit, because I did a bonus stream last night, so I took it down to 3.
And then now we're up again.
Now we're back to 4 again. Yeah, we're right back to 4. All right.
I don't know. This one's going to be tight.
This one is going to be a little bit tighter. I am the weak link here.
Ooh. Ice Wolf, I like that. As long as I don't have to be here for it.
Level 9 Chubby Bunny? No.
What?
Not
Come
tonight.
on.
Not tonight. We're busy.
That doesn't. You don't have to do
No.
things.
As
Day
a matter of fact,
of.
matters while we've got 1 minute and 20 seconds here. I believe tomorrow's bonus stream. Actually, I was thinking about not doing one tomorrow because it's Wednesday, but Oliver did mention wanting to stay over at his mom's house. So if he stays at his mom's house tomorrow, then we could do bonus stream tomorrow. And I think we were talking about doing Fortnite, right? That would be tomorrow, be Fortnite night.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
All right. Preach is going to join my leg. Preach is a tier 2. That just gives me another little bit there. And we've got Veska. I like that balance a little bit better. If I've got a tier 3, a tier 2, and a tier 3, and then my tier 7, we should be good, right? We're probably going to be good there. Right? We're
What's at the
find
bottom? Big stuff they can solo it?
tier 12.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a level 60. We're still running with our same guys, our same young team here, okay? 1 anchor, and if you even call me an anchor, all right, I'm a tier 7. I got JB at tier 10. I got Veska at tier 12. Each of us in 1 leg. We're running dual abilities in all legs. Everybody else is tier 2 and tier 3, guys. Okay? Everybody else is tier 2 and tier 3. And we're going to see how this
2
goes.
minutes.
And we're going to see how this goes. And then, depending on shield and depending on all this stuff, we may try to run this group again one more time, but with loot. We're going to see how it goes. 10 seconds. Here we go. Archer says a glass anchor. Yeah, I'm the weakest link here. There's no doubt. I'm the weak link.
We have under 2 minutes to get to a level 10 hype train. So think about that, people. Don't just make it be lost in.
It was my link. I was the weak link.
Yeah.
Damn. Dude, that was a level 60, though. And we were running 2s and 3s. You know?
Yeah.
I
know.
mean,
the power difference between your team and the Armada was massive.
oh my God. And look how close we got. Look how close we got. Ice Wolf, thank you for the 100 kitty bitties. Sniper dropping 10 gifted. Guys, we got 60 seconds on the clock. You're 60% through level 9. All right. You literally need Mech Rack. Just knocked out another 10. Mech Rack with another 10. We got 45 seconds on the clock. We are only 5 subs away from clearing level 9. Cottontail. Boom. There it is. It's done.
Oh, Cottontail.
Boom.
That's Hippie's mod, right?
Why did you changed your crew?
All right. So taking a look here. JB was the sole survivor. Veska was the sole survivor. And by the way, we weren't expecting everybody to survive, okay? We weren't expecting everybody to survive. This is a baby team. Baby team, all right? So, as expected, I was the weak link here, okay?
If one of those other guys had launched it with Picard, Bev, Gwen,
And I had run a
you had
Janeway,
the
yeah.
Janeway, you probably would have beat it.
Yeah, it was
I'm
close.
also surmising a little bit more offense from the because it looks like both me and Thad died in the first round. So if we had had, say, an extra 100% multi-shot, like if we got instead of Doctor on our attack round, we could have put out more damage.
Yeah, and we were close, guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
how many
we were
rounds was
within
it?
we were
Was that
within
a
25%.
That was 25 rounds. You guys doing an extra shot.
It'll make the difference.
or
Absolutely. Don't
10 extra shots.
discount that. Yeah.
It wouldn't have made. In 25
Don't
rounds?
trust your math.
Double shots for one shot?
Karkin,
Yeah,
you,
that hurt.
25
you're
rounds?
Karkin, you're not throwing an extra 60 billion in one round, bro. Okay, that's how much we were short. Was
doing an
60
extra
billion.
0.5% damage.
All right, Broken Wolf with 200. Minnie, thank you for your biddies. Bacon Fish, thank you for your your biddies. Shelby just dropped a 20 bomb. Cottontail with the 5 bomb.
Oh, gosh, thank you.
What was your mitigation?
I was just trying to not make it DJ's fault.
The bonus stream is there. We got the bonus stream. Fantastic.
Yay.
Thank you, guys. We're in a level 10, already 56% through to an 11. So you got a $100 pack giveaway tonight. And we are 8,900 bits or 18 subs away from another $100 pack. All right. So we are very, very close there. Now, I see this question from Ice Wolf, and I think it absolutely bears a question. I am a tier 7 halfway through. I've got weapons. I have no shield or armor. Ice Wolf says, do you think tier 8? Holy cow, Shelby.
My goodness, thank you, Shelby.
Shelby! All right, there we go. There's
my
tier
goodness.
10. Tier 11 now. That's $200 giveaway. And we're 64% through that already. So, yeah, taking advantage of the discount. You got it. You take a look. We're 8,700 bits, 18 subs away from a third $100 pack, guys. You guys are racking it up. Y'all are so wonderful. All right, and we're above 200 subs, so that's 2 bonus streams now, Tarpy. Now we're up to 5.
Oh my goodness.
5 bonus streams now. Yo, Manx Man, thank you for your 5 gifted. Holy moly. Tall Bear dropping a gifted sub. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now only 11 subs away from a third $100 pack tonight. Holy smokes, it's going to happen. Tri-Hundo. Let's go, Tri-Hundo. Ember Wild gifting a sub tonight. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. 11 subs away now. 7 days of
My
streams.
goodness.
I know, it's crazy. Keep the good times rolling. Matters, seeing as how close we were on this guy. Seeing as how close we were on this guy, tier 8 as the anchor, might have been able to do it. Tier 8 and maybe a leader, a non-anchor leader who could run a little bit different of a crew. Raj says consider Tolra, get a couple of extra shots in there. I mean, naked tier 8, Ice Wolf says, I think you would have carried that. Look how close we were, okay? Look how close we were. And again, guys, this was a level 60. So let's take a look at some of the loot that we've earned. Corellius, thank you for 5. Thank you so very much. Emberwild dropping a gifted sub. So now we are 5 subs away from a third $100 pack. All right, you guys got this in the bag. We got 2 minutes on the clock. Let's take a look at the loot we earned off the 57. 35,000. That is off of 1 level 57. We didn't even run Loot Crew, guys. Didn't even run Loot Crew. Let's go back into the faction store and see what these things cost. If I'm not mistaken, 50,000 is a double pull. I got that off of, I would have gotten that off of 2 armadas. That's good loot. Broken Wolf! Broken Wolf, Thad, and Tall Bear. All knocking it out. Thank you, guys. Yeah, guys, 30,000. What did we just say it was? How much was it? 35,000? 35,000. 35,000 loot. And by the way, that doesn't count what is in my loot chest. All right. If we go back to the spreadsheet, we won that 57. My starter loot would have been another 6,700. All right. So actually, I pulled 42,000 off of 1 armada. No, Caledon. That was not the starter chest. The starter chest is 6,700. This was what I earned from research and by the fact that nobody was drowning me out with power. All right. Now, granted, by the way, I'm the bigger guy. So they didn't get as much. So here's my next test. We saw that we struck out on the 60. Okay. So, JB, let's do the exact thing that we were going to do a minute ago. Let's go back to our 57, where we know that us as anchors are going to be able to take care of this thing. I'm going to bring my guys home, okay? And I'm going to go back to my Janeway Dr. Gwen. JB, let's run full-on power, all right, as leaders, as anchors, okay? And let's let the rest of our team run loot, okay? Rest of our team run loot, okay? And we're going to go back to the 57. And since I've got Tall Bear...
First.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. You already sent it.
No, it's fine. It's only one.
You've got Neelix on there. Pull him for pick Hugh.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep. I got you. All right. Risk Breaker, we're going to ask, because Tall Bear's here in the chat. Karkin is here in the chat. off of the 57 victory, Karkin and Thad were both on my leg. Karkin had a tier 3. I was running tier 7. Karkin, on this leg, the 57 we just defeated, how much temporal wreckage did you get? I'm going to assume probably...
Wait, the 57 or the 60 we just defeated?
We didn't defeat the 60.
Well, didn't we have a... Oh, sorry, I see. Yeah, you're right.
Were you in a leg that defeated the 60? No, you were with me. We died. So go to the 57 we defeated. I'm going to guess, I mean, I did outpower you, but I'm still going to guess it's probably in the neighborhood of 8 to 10.
I got 3 million encrypted and 1,223 crenum.
Okay. So he only got 1,200. Let's see what we can do now with Loot Crew. Yeah, let's go loot for the little guys. And guys, thank you so much on the hype train. That's insane. We've got 90 seconds left. We owe what, $300? $300 now in packs that we're going to be giving away in less than 10 minutes. We're going to do it. 35% off gift subs of 5 or more. If you guys wanted to bang out a 4th pack tonight, then we're 53 subs away from that. But guys, thank you so very much. A level 12 hype train is absolutely insane. 10, 11, 12. That's $300 that we're giving away here tonight. You guys are incredible. Thank you. You wanted to run. Shelby just did 20 of it. Holy God, guys, you can do it. You're 33 subs away from a 4th pack. Shelby just did 20. You're 33 away. We got 40 seconds on the clock. He got you halfway there. All right, and you wanted to run, instead of Neelix, you wanted Pick Hugh, you said? Matters? Who did you want? Pick Hugh?
Oh, yeah, Pick Hugh instead of Neelix.
Okay, there's Pick Hugh.
Definitely.
Lost in. Did the other 33. Holy shit. Holy smokies. That's
Which place are you going to? Because I'm about to open a rift there, so you can use the rift.
Okay, we're going to Salazar. That's not how you say it, but that's where we're going. Lost in and Shelby carrying level 12. And now, guys, $400. $400 giveaway. And wait, 4, 5, 6, 4. We were at 4, then 5, then 6. Oh my God! Now we're at 7 bonus. No, 6. We were at 4, right, Tarpy? I've lost count now.
Yeah.
Lost in says 7. Is it 7?
Okay, so you were at 3 yesterday, after yesterday, so they added
4,
how
5,
many?
and 6. They've added 3 now today. Yeah, because we were at 4. Yesterday was a bonus stream. Took it down to 3. Now we've added 3 more. We're at 6. Asheville says we're at 7. I'm pretty sure it's 7. I think it's 7. Oh my God.
Okay, 7. I'm not
Wait
gonna
a second.
say
Wasn't
no
it 5 just a minute ago? Guys, you skipped 6. You skipped 6. Didn't we just say it was 5? Hold on, I'm looking in the chat.
Oh, you just agreed to 7, so I think it's now 7.
Shit. I'm pretty sure. Lost in says
Too
it was.
bad.
Yeah,
So
no.
sad. You're
Lost in does say it was 4 coming into today. It was 4 coming into today. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Damn. Woo!
if you have a hot second, remind people what they're getting, because we do have some newer people, especially with that Prime sub.
Yo, thank you, Azeroth, for your Prime sub. Appreciate that very much. All right, so what do you mean what they're getting? They're getting entries into the cruise. They're also
What cruise?
Tarpy. She's a marketing slave driver. Thank you, Wheels, dropping 5 gifted.
Oh
So,
my goodness,
guys!
thank you.
Every gifted sub that is given, every sub that is done here is 2 free entries into the Talking Trek Cruise sweepstakes, where we are giving away for you and a friend a free cruise coming up in February aboard the Star Trek cruise aboard Royal Caribbean. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am going to go ahead and start this for the sake of 10 minutes, okay? Thad or JB and Vesca, if you guys will anchor the other 2 legs, and then we want the littles to run Loot Crew around us. And we're going to see if that impacts them a great deal. I'm hoping that would take Karkin's 1,200 and turn it into like 2,500.
Uh-oh.
Jazz Gaming, thank you for the 3-month resub. Appreciate that very much. 1:45. We're 40% through level 13. That's insane. So on top of being a sub to the channel, every time you gift a sub to the channel, you get extra entries into the Talking Trek Cruise sweepstakes. At this point, Lost In is doing the exact same craziness that you guys, that Seth did last year. And it's absolutely nuts. Lost In, Shelby, thank you guys so much for all of your entries, all of your support. They're trying to win a free cruise. All right, they're trying to.
We just got another 5.
Who's got another 5? Real Restless, thank you for dropping 5. And see, just like that, Real Restless just hooked up with 10 free tickets into the Talking Trek Cruise sweepstakes. All right, so supporting the channel, having a little bit of fun, and getting 10 bonus entries into the Talking Trek Cruise sweepstakes that we'll be drawing for in August. Right? Oh my God! Is it August, April, May, June, July? It's August.
It's August.
Man, we are guys. We're less than 45 days away from closing this contest out. Woo.
We haven't decided exactly which day at the end of August yet, nor have you decided exactly which day the drawing will be. If I remember, unless you put a specific date in August for the end of it.
I did not, because it's going to take me a while to tabulate all the results. I just said sometime in August. So.
We have 30 seconds left
Whew.
on this hype train level.
And you know what's crazy? You guys
Words
have
are hard.
No, Strider, didn't we change the rules? I'm not allowing people to give away entries this year because it was too much to keep up with. So this year we made the prize. I mean, it's your prize. You want to give it to your mom? You want to give it to your sister? You want to give it to your cousin? You want to give it to your alliance mate? I don't care. The prize is transferable, but it's not cash equivalent. So isn't that what we said, Tarpy? We were not going to allow entries, but you can gift the prize to whomever. Cruise, yes. Entries, no. It was too much work the other way around. What the hell is happening? Shelby just did another 30. Shelby just did another 30.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
my goodness.
Shelby just did another 30. And I can't click the button. I think the timer ran out. That is insane. Unbelievable. No. Did the timer run out?
Yeah, they are. That was so close.
Oh, that was so close. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. You know what?
Thank you, everybody.
Hold on. No, you know what? That would have been what? What did we just hit? We just hit.
That would have been 14.
He hit it. I mean, it wasn't in time, but the number was there, right? Didn't it need? It only needed 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. Piss on it. We're giving away $500.
Oh my goodness.
Piss on it.
Woohoo.
Listen, I can't be stingy. I can't be stingy with that level of generosity. So what? There was a delay. There was lag. There was lag.
He probably clicked the purchase button with plenty of time.
Yeah.
But then it was the Twitch delay.
Lag. Okay. Jiminy Christmas with the lag.
Scopely.
So, here's the thing.
If I don't open it, then later I can claim ignorance, right?
I am ignorant. That was the number of subs that was needed for the next level. It came in, the clock missed it, whatever. That's level 14. In my book, that's $500. We're doing it tonight. That's what we're doing, yes.
That is amazing.
If I die during this armada, does my charge disappear? Are you suddenly in danger if I'm the one with the main charge?
What?
If I'm the one with the opposing charge, like say in this one, and I die, does the charge
I am
disappear?
so positive.
Are you
I'm full of positive energy.
No. Charge is applied at the start of battle. Charge is applied. It's a state. It's a pre-battle condition. The charge is set at the start of battle. Okay? If I look in my log, there's Karkin, there's TB. We're back down at the 57s. I'm just going to go ahead and pop an ability here. It's not really super necessary. Over here, we've got the team of 4 over here. JB, Peel, Del Monte is a new player. So wait, did we have somebody drop out? Because now we probably should be able to run teams of 4 unless some people have left.
I know we had to rotate around a starter.
Okay, why? Did somebody run
out? Maxed on what I can at 50.
Did TB run out of directives? Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so TB's in mine. I got Karkin TB with me, JB, Bill, Peel, Del Monte, and Thad, Vesca, and Sack down below. Now, Vesca, just as a quick reminder, go ahead and pop your ability, your opposing ability. It looks like Sack has done the SAC has done anti-static, so you can pop your anti-charge. That'll get you some damage down there. Up here, we got Thad and JB with opposing abilities. That's great. I got TB and Karkin with opposing abilities. That's going to be good. So,
where do you want Chala? He can come, he said.
Chala.
And a loot crew, Chala.
Chala, pop a loot crew and go see Veska's leg, it looks like. All right. And now we are dropping one leg. We went from the 57. We went from the 60 down to the 57. Karkin is probably still going to pull. I'm hoping it's going to be close to 2,000. It might not be. 1,800,
I've
1,900.
increased my loot by about another 240-ish%. 235, I think.
So hopefully that'll get you north of 200, north of 2,000. Now, just out of curiosity, what does it cost you to pull a temporal wreckage claim in your faction store?
That's a really important question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go look.
Because it's based on tier. So let's take a look. He is. Let me find where the store is. Here it is.
Are we looking at the victory chest or the other two? I guess
the temporal wreckage. He
2,200
is
for a
2,200 single, 8,800. Guys, listen. Out of this one armada, I expect that he's probably going to pull about 25%. All right, so again, if you get a team of guys running this, he's going to be able to run off of one start. If he runs his start and then there's 3 other starts that go and you run with your team of 4, he's going to be able to fully sustain double pulls. Okay? You got to remember the temporal wreckage scales by ops. Okay? So as a G6 player, mine's 50,000. All right? Karkin's is 8,800. Right here's that little chart. Okay? So, yeah, some of you guys are going to have 26,800 for a double pull. But the math is lining up nicely on this, all right? So, again, if we drop to the 57, and honestly, truthfully, if I had just an ounce less squishiness, then we could have run that 60, and he could have gotten more. He could have gotten more. I need another tier or 2 to probably be able to solo it and let my team run loot crew. You see what I'm saying? How am I not tier 10?
There's some math you could do to check where your mitigation was in comparison with, having Paris when you have Max. If you could drop the doctor because you have synergy from the research enough to do, one hit equals full shields, and then potentially add in a more offensive person to increase your setup.
Yeah, that's true. Ginmon also reminds me, hey, listen, we haven't broken out any buffs yet. All right, so there could have absolutely been a Max Fort. There could have been Lorca's Fist that we could have done. So, yeah, absolutely. There are still tools in our toolbox that would probably allow us to punch that level 60 and finish it. Okay? You got to remember, these are normal armadas. So Defiant works, Cerritos works, Max Fortify works. An Armada XO is going to be very, very minimal impact. Remember, we're already pulling 7,500% damage boost. Even Lorca's Fist is going to possibly lose a little bit in the noise. Lorca's Fist for me is 88. Well, no, that's 8,800. That would double it because I'm already running 7,500. So, yeah, Lorca's Fist probably would have knocked it out. All right. Shiz says the idea of using a Vindicator hasn't even been considered yet. It's been discussed, but it's such a slow-ass ship that nobody... You know what I'm saying? It's so slow that relativities are still doing better. But, yes, the Vindicator with the taunt ability would buy you that extra round. For example, where Karkin and TB lost on that first round last time, they would have survived a second round. Okay? Tolra would have been a decent idea for extra shots. That could have helped a little bit. So, yeah, there's a lot of variation here. But I think point's been proven here. Relativities are the way to go moving forward. You can tweak this for your team, but it is time to stop bringing cubes to these formation armadas. Boom, there's all 3. I'm going to check my loot. This is off of 57. I pulled 33,000 off of 57. Karkin, tell me that you are north of 2,200. Please, that's all I want to know. 2,200, that's the magic number.
Going to look now. Let's see. I feel there should be a drum roll as the game loads.
Do I have a drum roll? I don't know if I have a drum roll.
A little shy. 1,900.
1,900. Daggone, so close. Oh, but wait. Tri-victory chest. How much is in your tri-victory chest?
Well, that one has 5,700.
Hold on.
From the Crenum Quantum Tech.
That's right. Quantum Tech is not the same as temporal wreckage. That's right. No. Hey, did you get the participants chest? Because there would have been another 700, and that would have gotten you there. Did you, by luck? You did not get it. Okay.
I didn't get that, but my cargo does say it's full. Could I be somehow limited at my potential?
That's a graphic bug. Graphic bug.
Are we sure? Because that is the case for the NX-01.
You're not full. Well, go check your inventory, but you're not full. Mine shows full too. Here's mine. Mine shows full too.
They do that for other armadas though. It's just a graphical thing.
Yeah, it does that for a lot of them. It'll show you have
full cargo. Yeah, for solos or whatever, but you have nothing.
So Tall Bear. Now look here.
Yeah,
this is beautiful. I like this. Tall Bear. That is huge. TB was in this leg. He was tier 4 as compared to Karkin's tier 3. TB got the participants chest, got 6,700 loot, which means with the participant chest, he was at 7,500, which is almost enough for a double pull off of one armada. If he were Karkin's level. Now, Tall Bear, I think, is a higher generation. Yeah, he's a higher generation, so he needs more loot naturally. But, Karkin, look at that. If you got yours bumped up to tier 4 and the similar type of power and loot share that we did, then you would have been significantly higher than the 2,000, maybe even 4 to 45.
Is more restricted. I'm at the max for I can for 50, but I need to go to 51 to get it any higher.
That's exactly right.
For the
guys,
here's another question.
Yes.
So you've been doing this for small relativities predominantly, and then relatively larger relativities plus a flock of smaller ones. What if there is one relativity in your alliance that is tier 12 or close to max, and then everything else is in the tier 5, tier 6 range? What would you suggest doing in that case? Would you still suggest kind of punching down? Would you just say, hey, please sit out, much larger player, and then we'll do a bigger one with you with bigger ships? Or what would you say?
Cruzito says those guys need to solo theirs. I mean, here's the thing. You're still ruining loot. It would really, really be nice. I mean, the whole purpose of what we've been teaching tonight is, A, to get into the Stella mindset. You know what I'm saying? Get into the Stella mindset to allow players to start working on this loop faster. It's going to provide more credits. It's going to provide more double pulls in that store, more ship parts, more research dust.
But
it's a real good question.
Ask some of the smaller players, because we have the opposite end problem where we have smaller G4 players that are begging for rifts to the bigger systems, which obviously they're limited to the 60 system for that, but they keep wanting to join, which is fantastic. So then we keep having to accommodate them by that same one player who's a whale going in all 3 of the legs so that we can make sure we win. And so now it's a little bit of a balance where we say, okay, smaller players, please go do yours and have more equal shares of the loot, potentially, rather than starter chests or nothing. Because that's another way to think about it, right? Have 2 sets of these armadas going?
Yeah, absolutely. The other suggestion in chat would be just to try to coordinate the legs, put the bigger players in one leg, And even if you have power overload, you got power overkill. It's fine if they're fighting their own loot, but you just want to make sure that you will be able to take it out. So put the smaller players in another leg. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, so like I think this just opens up a lot of other options for alliances as well. So it's like you can have the smaller players kind of work together on their own stuff, which also gives them a little bit more sense of them being able to do things without the whales or without the bigger players, which I think is also important.
There's a couple of points in chat. We're talking about the Vindicator. You are going to lose a bunch of damage boosts, but that's not what the Vindicator does. The Vindicator doesn't provide damage. It provides an alternative target.
It's the bull rider with the red flag.
Yeah.
Like it says, come here, hit me first.
Yeah, you don't need the damage buffs
all
from the
the
Vindicator.
damage boosts are for all ships, so you don't lose any damage as a result.
That's actually true. That's true. But the Vindicator
benefits to a Vindicator is that it gets similar boosts to what all the relativities are getting anyway. It gets more shield. The major benefit that makes Vindicator so strong is higher shield mitigation and shield regen. So it's not going to perform any better than a relativity of similar strength, but it is going to not get the loot boost, which is a big. Like, you could send a much stronger Vindicator, and yeah, that'll help you win. But then more of the loot is going to a ship that doesn't gain the loot boost, so that defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Well, that might be a good way for the bigger player to participate. So if the bigger player has a pretty big relativity, they probably also have a pretty big Vindicator, at least if we're talking on the scale of like an Ops 70 compared to a bunch of G5s. So that might be a good way to say, hey, please bring your giant ship, use your Vindicator, but if they're not starting, they can still tank it, per se, and then don't have the loot boost.
Not only that, and I like the idea of the Vindicator talk, but I do kind of also want to point out that Shelby is still on to the fact that there is still a starter chest mechanic here. The fact that both of these mechanics exist within the same Armada target is not necessarily a bad thing. If you do want to punch up, okay? Let's say, for example, you do get a tiny baby ship, an NX-01, a Voyager, whatever, that does want to go start one of these 70s, fine. All right? Because the whale's relativity is still going to take that loot. I still think that if you're going to have somebody run the 70 mechanic starter, that is a non-relativity, you still want the big ships to be running relativity. You know what I'm saying? Because then they're going to get loot boosts on top of the 15,000. So I still think that that's good. I do hear the calls in chat about soloing. You do have a participant chest here that's not necessarily uber small. I never recommend giving loot back to Scopely. Okay? Now, Cruzito says the NX does not belong in these. Stop with that. And I don't disagree. I wouldn't want to run it that way. But the fact does remain. If Karkin got 2,500 loot, he still would have been better taking an NX and starting a 70. And JB would have gone up there with his Crenshaw and killed it. Okay? But
it's a balance.
But they would have all lost out on a bunch of loot. Okay? Because of the loot bonus. So I do think Tarpy's right. There's a balance here. I mean, if you've got one mega whale that can solo these legs, all right, then fine. But I think that if you have a relatively power variable team, you're going to be a lot better off running those. Okay? Like for example, because you got to remember, Shelby, in that case, you've got a starter running one. But if I've got 4 guys at tier 7 and we can kill a 63 or a 67, that's a lot more loot for all of us because we're getting 4 runs with loot boost instead of 1. You see what I'm saying? You're going to get 4 runs out of that same start You spread the loot over 12 players. You got participants' chest. You got starters' chest. You're getting extra plays. If there's an event, you're getting extra kills, extra damage. I mean, you're getting all kinds of extra stuff if you're able to run these as a team. So definitely a couple of different ways to approach it. All right. And I love the fact that we're starting to see the relativity come into its own. All right. I love the fact that we've shown tonight that, I mean, listen, the 57s are no slouch. All right. I know that there are alliances out there using their faction ships on the 57s and struggling. And certainly struggling to maintain their armada pulls in the DTI store. Okay. We take a look now at what I've got in here in the DTI store. I now have enough to do double pulls in both chests on my next cooldown in 3 days. You see what I'm saying? Newton, I'm sorry. Do you want to stay? You want to stay? I'll do it right now. I'm so sorry. I forgot. Packs. We got to give away 5. I'm loading marbles. Loading it right now. Hang on, Newton. If you want to stay, it's one race. I'm going to do one race. Top 5 players each get a pack. All right. That way you don't have to miss out. Okay. Good odds. One race. 5 minutes on the clock. Here we go. I'm going to pop in. All right, guys. Your chance to win $500. Here we go! Exclamation point play. Not yet, 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 not yet. Now you go. There you go. Sorry. Took me a second. All right. There you go. Exclamation point play. Yeah, giving away $500 right here and now. Top 5 winners each win a $100 pack. And again, I'm going to remind you all that if you message me tonight with your player ID, your ops level, and the precise name of the pack you want, then there is a very high likelihood that I get you that pack this week. I have not hit my cutoff yet because we're still coordinating. All right. So you send me pack, name, player ID, ops level, send it to me ASAP, then I can get it very, very quickly. Very quickly.
Copy, paste your player ID.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No screenshots. I don't take screenshots. Nope. I'm dyslexic and I've got fat fingers. No. Has to be a copy paste. I will not take screenshots. That's just a me thing. I'm sorry. It's not that I know the data's there, but I've had too many typos. I've had too many typos over the year, and it just holds up over the years, and it just holds everything up. So I don't do it. Copy and paste is the only way to go. Exclamation point play. We got 174 people in. Your odds are good. 5 out of 175 people. That's better than 2%. Better than 2%. You got some decent odds here tonight, okay? Decent odds. 10 seconds are on the clock. Exclamation point play. What if the pack isn't in your store? Well, then you can't have it. Pack has to be in your store. Okay?
No, you cannot buy an Ops 70 ship pack.
No.
Unless you're Ops 70.
It's got to be in your pack. Okay? All right. Exclamation. Yes.
Are people asking if it's a pack that expired in the last day or so, or if it expires tomorrow? Or
what packs expire tomorrow?
There's usually something.
I think most of what's left in the store shouldn't expire until this weekend. So you got that. All right. Exclamation point play. 10 seconds on the clock. Here we go, Newton. Your chance to win. 185 people are in the snow globe, and we're 5 seconds away from seeing 185 balls drop. Here we go. There they all go. 187 finally made it in. And Jay Carlo is the first one out of the chute. Here we go. Jay Carlo's still a freak. Brett Day, Django, and Curmudgeon are the first to head down this snowy, curvy track. But it will very quickly get slick and divisive up here as we take a look at where this track is going to split off. We've got 2 very different tracks as we head down. And looking is how we've got, an automatic ball separator. That is going to put a disadvantage to the players on the right-hand side of the track. We see Jay Carlo moving down, but there's Orcanado moving down. Holy
Kaneda.
smokes. I don't even know how to call this race right now. We've got two different tracks running. Jay Carlo in the clear lead, but Waffly falling off of the track. There goes Howland, Shriva, Spock, Rubik's, TJ all off the track. Wristbreaker flying through that first set of traps, but now into a very dangerous ball of all kinds of weird paddles trying to find his way into the hole.
What?
Yeah, you heard me. Six Notion is the first one to find his way out. There comes Jongo. Jongo still in the lead in a top 5 spot. Six Notion coming over here as we head into our final set of twists and turns. Still a freak. Six Notion, Jongo, Manx, and Jess Insanity in the top 5 spots.
Open it, then later I can claim ignorance, right?
Dirty Bird Bill coming up close behind. There come the last 3, 4, 5 as they come down. The 5th place spot is going to be so close. There's Jongo, still a freak. Six Notion, Manx Man, and who's it going to be?
I'm so positive. I'm full of positive
Dirty
energy.
Bird Bill by the skin of his nose. Holy smokes! Oh my goodness gracious. That was wild right there. All right, congratulations. Top 5 spots, winning a $100 pack tonight. Yes, the shape of this track is quite phallic. Don't necessarily disagree right there. Congratulations to Jongo, Still a Freak, Six Notion, Manx Man, and Dirty Bird Bill. You guys hooking up with a $100 pack tonight. Thank you guys very much. Send me your DMs with all your relevant information. And congratulations to our top 5 winners. And again, huge thanks to all contributors of the massive hype train tonight that allowed you guys to hook up with $500. That is absolutely insane. Lost in Shelby, Wheels. We had Loki in there, Tall Bear, Thad, Broken Wolf, Carillius, Emberwild, Manx Man, Cottontail, Sniper, Mech Rack, Jongo, Fisty, Trickle, and so many more. Thank you guys for your massive support and your insane contributions tonight and allowing us to give back to the community in the form of $500 worth of packs. Absolutely, you guys are awesome. Thank you. Fantastic. There you go. 5 packs. Holy smokes. Holy smokes! Okay. Top 5 winners. $99 pack. There you go. Congratulations, everybody. Appreciate it. Shriva says, I'm going to go pout and sell some drugs. There you go. Lost End says, new record. No, I think we've got a level 16 or 17 before. But, I mean, that was pretty... We've hit a level 20? No.
You've said it. You've said it before. You can see on your account.
Can I? I don't know how to find it.
Okay.
Let me see.
Impulse button pushing.
Where would it be?
You're the one who's looked it up before. Like, you have literally told us before.
I know, but I can see it during a hype train. During a hype train, it'll show me. Yeah, I don't know if there's a place for me to look that up.
Channel stats. I can look it up and send you the link later.
Okay. I know that I can see it on my screen during a hype train. I just don't know how to find it after the fact. But either way, it's absolutely phenomenal. You guys are incredible. Thank you so very much. Bobby! What are you doing, Bobby Boucher? Welcome in. Appreciate it. Bobby is a very loyal viewer over in OG's chat. So thank you for coming over. Appreciate the follow. How are you tonight? Dude, we just gave away $500. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that nuts?
You just missed it.
You just missed it. We just gave away $500. That's crazy. You literally missed it by like 3 minutes. All right. But there's always next time. All right. You're about to go to bed. Well, have a great sleep. Appreciate you stopping in. Thanks for the follow. All right, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to see with the relativity? I feel like we've adequately shown it off.
They want to see the other crew, the more shots, like the Josh Beer, Glenn.
Okay, let me see if my team is willing to come back. Hey guys, chat has suggested another crew for our anchors. Are you guys all willing to come back and let's run that 60 one more time? High chance of failure, but I want to compare. All right.
You could even like throw it on and solo the 57 if they don't want to take part in a high chance of failure. Because you did relatively well against that.
Well,
and
everybody
I'm
else
not sure
killed
how
it.
much the other guys.
Yeah, everybody else killed it. So it's just me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to run anything else. Like if I ran Lorca's Fist, that's going to throw off the test. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, absolutely. Don't do that.
Yeah, so I want to run. I want to run it with me. So you guys, what's the crew? Matters. Give me the crew.
Cruzito, to Josh Beer, Gwen, you want, and then also swap pick Hugh under decks for Paris.
Okay, Josh, Beer, and what? And Gwen. Who? Josh, Gwen, and who?
Beer.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Josh, Beer, Gwen, and you want Tom Paris instead of Pick Hugh.
Yeah.
Okay. Is Vesca still here? JB can anchor a leg, and we'll need Vesca or another large Rella to anchor the other. For my leg, I really kind of need to keep Karkin and Tallbear to keep the test consistent. All right, so we're going to go back to the 60. All right, so I'm not worried about JB. Tall Bear and Karkin use combat crews.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, got you. Tall Bear and Karkin.
JB's gone to bed.
JB's.
We don't have JB.
JB's in chat right now.
Oh, he just messaged me that he was going to bed. I guess he's
1 minute ago, he said he would anchor one for me. So
good.
All right.
Sooner than my message.
Everyone else can run. Everyone else. Okay, let's see. Anchors, run combat. All supports, run loot if you want. I'm the only one who died on the 60. So I need to change my crew as an anchor. And Karkin and TB need to run combat. And JB and Vesca just need to win. All right.
Yeah, the other legs don't matter. Well, we got your log from your leg.
Yeah.
And so what am I running? You want me running combat like the Janeway?
Janeway, Dr. Gwen. I guess.
Well, I'm gonna switch off Doctor and I'm gonna go just extra shots because why not, right?
I would prefer you
One
not
round.
on this test because I changed my crew. I don't want you to change yours. Okay.
Well, against the 60, I was one round. So in that first round.
No. No.
Yeah, I'll do what. Yeah, I'll do what.
You're not going to make a difference of 60 billion in damage, bro.
Right.
Now, if we lose this armada by 3 million damage, then I'll accept defeat.
All right, then I'll take the win.
Yeah. Relativities only, please. All right.
That pleases me because I wanted more balls.
Yeah, he did.
More balls is always. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and pop my ability. And Karkin and TB can run theirs. We'll need Sack and Vesca to run their abilities, opposing abilities. There we go. TB's headed to my leg. And we'll check TB's crew. He's running the combat crew, Janeway, Dr. DeMarco, fantastic. You know, here's another thing that I just noticed that I might be able to do better in combat with if I was equipping Forbidden Tech or Chaos Tech. I'm not running any. Matters, are there Forbidden Tech or Chaos Techs that would support use on a Relativity against these?
Yeah, absolutely. The ones you're looking at probably are going to be those rare, like the rare Explorer one, the Control Seeker probes.
No kidding, really? You want me to go put those on?
No, I don't want
Worst
to
case
change anything
scenario,
else right now.
No more variables. You're right. No more variables.
For those who don't,
we're
the
checking
nice
crew
super
versus crew
lows
right now.
These are just group armadas, so you could use the uncommon group armada one if you really are short on FTs and need something.
Yeah,
at
you
least
could use
relevant.
that one. It'll probably be less effective than the Control Seeker probes. And if you happen to have the pay only armada ones, the epics, that would be the best option. The one for explorers, obviously, whatever that one is.
All right. I'm sure Dave is not in voice.
The Control Seeker probes work against armadas and hostiles, despite what it says in the tooltip. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Now, Bill, you or Del Monte, go ahead and pop your opposing ability. JB's got one on, so we need one of you guys to pop the other. I see Sack, Chala. There's Leechy, you big old stinky whale. Even his is only tier 4. Dang. See, my team didn't buy in at the beginning. I think they will more so now that we've seen some of this testing. But yeah, Leechy's one of our power players. Even he's only at tier 4 on this ship. So we got Vesca, Sack, Chala, and Leechy down in the neutral leg. I got Thad, Del Monte, Dirty Bird, and JB. And, okay, Dave popped out. That's fine. Okay, so, again, not worried about JB's leg. I think he's going to be fine. We've got Vesca down here in the neutral leg, so they're going to be fine. Plus, they're all running 4 ships. The reason this has a high percentage of failure is because the only thing we changed was on mine. The other crews are the same. So here was the 60 we failed. Wait a second. I did have 4. on the 60. Well, we need to bring in a 4th.
Yeah, you moved.
Okay,
Well,
Dave,
bring in Dave then.
Join
Dave, come on in.
my leg. Sorry, I am checking all the variables. Join my leg, but you need Janeway, Dr. Gwen on the bridge. Okay. So, whoopsies.
You are wrong. Just sit down and be wrong. You are wrong.
Sorry. Thank you, Six Notion. Have a wonderful night. Appreciate it. All right, so we're going to have Dave come up and join us here in a second. I'm glad we looked at that. I thought I was only running with 3. So, yeah, here is our defeat against the 60. The other legs won. My leg was the one that failed. I was the tier 7. We had Preach at tier 2, Thad at tier 2, Karkin at tier 3. So here's what I need to do. I need to try to duplicate that test. Thad, come to my leg. TB, go to JB's leg. So you two trade places. And let's see. I need a tier 2. Who's got a tier 2? I need to duplicate this test with a tier 2. Chala. It's tier 4. Sack. Will you come to my... Oh, wait. Sack was a starter, wasn't he? Yeah, Sack's a starter, so I can't do that. Sorry, Thad. I didn't mean to mess you up. I apologize. He's going to come back with the right crew. Sorry, dude. And Dave is coming back with the right crew. So... I don't remember. How big was Dave's? He was tier 4, wasn't he? So we're also going to get a slight advantage there. Matters with the crew, but that's just inevitable. You can't run a repeat with these things. So, yeah, Preach is out. Unless Preach is standing by, but that's going to get me a tier 4 instead of a tier 2. And honestly, that might have been enough in and of itself to finish this thing. But there's nothing really we can do about that. But that will show the value then, right? You get a tier 7, a tier 2, a tier 3, and a tier 4, and you guys can take out a 60. I mean, you know, I mean that's good enough testing in and of itself. If you guys can take out a 60 with it. Here comes Dave. Hey, Dave's a tier 2. Perfect. All right, so we're even. Everything is good. Everything is balanced. Dave's a tier 2. So we're gonna have Thad back. Dave is subbing in for Preach, tier 2 for tier 2. Karkin is a repeat, and I'm a repeat. So the only thing we've changed is my crew. Everybody downline from me is running Janeway, Dr. Gwen. And I have changed my crew over to DJz, Beer, and Gwen. We're not going to activate any other abilities. Karkin, you need to pop. Never mind. I'll do it. Don't change. All right, there we go. We've got 2 different abilities rolling there. Opposing abilities, perfect. We got opposing abilities over here. I'm not worried about JB's leg. I'm not worried about Veska's leg. They're going to survive. They're going to kill everything because they're the anchors. This is just trying to see if my extra shots can cover 60 billion, which is all we were missing. Still missing Thad, but he is on his way back. Hopefully, Thad, you going to make it? Is he in system? There he is. Okay, Thad is here. He's running tier 2, and he's got the proper crew. We are ready to go. So we've got everything identical. Everything is perfect on this leg. We are simply going to test to see if my crew on modification can make up the 60 billion that we lost down here. Okay.
Yeah. And while we're waiting for it to launch, there is a new Chaos Tech Real Mega Molecule, which is kind of made for the Relativity. It'll give you a bit of a crit damage bonus. Maxes out at 200%, so not insanely big, but still helps. And the loot boost, I think 1,500, which it's more loot. It'll be more wreckage and the other stuff, but with the 10,000% that you get from the research, it's not as helpful as it looks when you first glance at it.
All right, guys, come on, 60 billion's all I need.
Fingers crossed.
Did not kill it. Nope. All right, let's see how we did. Oh, nowhere near as good, guys. Matters had it. Matters had it right.
I don't have to sit down and be wrong.
You do not have to sit down and be wrong. We missed that by a long shot, guys. We missed that by a long shot. Now, here's probably a significant reason for that. Oh, come on, Benny Hill. Come on. Yeah, Burton, I'm thinking that if I was not a starter. No, Ram Scoop, it wasn't that the ships were too low. That's not it. All right, because look, here was another 60 that we ran, and we almost knocked it out, and we used a different crew. Here's the difference. If somebody else had been the starter, then possibly we could have gotten around it. No, Miles wouldn't have done it either, guys. This is a direct result of losing the Gwen boost all the way down line. That is a 1,000% absolute non-starter. We lost the Gwen boost all the way down, and even extra shots was not going to make up for all that lost cascade. That was not even close. That was not even close.
I think I foolbot this.
The starter is always going to have to run Picard, Bev, Gwen. Always, no matter what. And if your starter is your anchor, then you can't punch up this big, or you're going to have other support. We ran tier 2, and tier 3 against a 60. All right. if somebody else was the starter and ran Picard, Bev, Gwen, then I could have run this crew, and it probably would have done it. All right. But as the starter, if you're going to run small ships, starter has to run Picard, Bev, Gwen. It's not even an option.
Did you end up hitting a 60 before with you running Janeway as well?
Not
those guys?
with a win. I ran on the
Did
previous.
You lose running?
Yeah, I lost on the. Yeah, I ran Picard, Beverly, Gwen, and we lost, but by a much slimmer margin. Okay. Yeah.
Right,
thank you. My alliance chat. My alliance chat is all calling me out for being squishy. Thank you guys. You guys are. I love you all. I love you all.
Did you run a 60 before that using Janeway, Dr. Gwen?
No.
No, you switched it up on me without telling me.
No, I didn't. We only ran 2 60s. But Janeway,
but I never said switch to Picard.
Listen, it doesn't matter. I'm here to tell you it matters. Even I can answer that. Without the Gwen down boost, Janeway, Dr. Gwen would not have made a difference. It's not going to make that up. This is all straight up about damage done. This was not about survivability. This was about how much damage we dealt, okay? We were 60 billion away.
You will deal more damage as the anchor if you are surviving longer.
I bet okay, let's check my mitigation.
You boosted the Gwen for everybody, but all the other relativities that showed up with you aren't dealing nearly as much as you are.
All right.
So boosting them matters less than you surviving longer. Try it again. I want to see the difference.
No, I'm going to check my mitigation. Nope, doesn't matter. My mitigation was near max.
Right, but you would have been taking less damage because more of it would be going to shields because of Janeway. And you still would have been getting a little bit of isolytic from Janeway as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're not getting a full 2.2% more isolytic because you're boosting Gwen. You're getting less than that because you're also dropping off the 30% or 40% isolytic cascade that Janeway's doing, but you're losing all of her shield mitigation boost for all but the first shot of every round.
Yeah, but I mean,
Once they're all gone,
but
that's cutting your damage taken down by 75%.
Well, let's see when they all died. You might be right. If everybody was dead by round 2 or round 3, then you're probably right.
Oh, out of 25 rounds, round 15. If they were all gone by round 10, then and it was just you.
It was
Janeway
just
it was
dude. It was just me by round 4.
Oh yeah, then Janeway 100% is what you need.
Oh god, guys.
The whole Spock down bug did nothing after round 4.
Spock down did nothing after round 4. Okay, all right, let's try it again. I want to do it again.
I told you I needed the multi-shot.
Can we do it again?
Let me.
I'm so sorry.
Not multi-shot. Quiet.
But we're learning.
Quiet with your multi-shot.
Can I do it again?
For me.
Same exact teams. Sorry, JB.
JB has gone to bed this time.
I'll buy you a fruit basket.
Fruit baskets for everybody.
Shoot.
Yeah, this every time some new target comes out, everyone goes ham on shots and isolytic and whatever, and just like all the way back to the Dominion solo armadas, you gotta balance it with survivability to win.
Yeah, Gwen down. You're right. Did nothing after round 4. So we're going to go back. We're going to run the same crew as everybody else. We're going to go Janeway, Doctor. Janeway, Doctor, Gwen. Below deck, you still want...
Pick Hugh instead of Paris.
Pick Hugh. And Vial.
Yeah.
Damn, that was okay. All right.
Puddin'.
Who was in JB's leg? Do you think we've got enough to beat that leg with who all was there? Leachy is a tier 4. Ugh. I need one more anchor. We could throw in a faction ship. That's right. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Vesca, run the static leg.
Wait, what? Faction ship.
Which one was I? Hang on. We went to the 60, right? That's where we were going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to start the charged leg. Vesca, let's see. Anyone can start neutral, and let's load it with heavy faction ships. Just kill it. The only thing I need to duplicate exactly is my leg. All right. So my leg needs to be Thad, Karkin, and Dave. I need Thad, Karkin, and Dave with the exact same crews. So TB, you're gonna have to go to you're gonna have to go to Vesca's. I gotta have Thad, Karkin, and Dave in my charged leg with the exact same crew. You know, Matters, I bet this might get it.
Hope so. I think he'll do better. And you don't need to be doing much better to beat him. So
Because even though I'm losing the Picard Beverly boost to Gwen, I'm picking up Janeway. I'm getting extra shield. Mitigation was never a problem. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. It will be closer to this test than it was to this test. This was a failure. But this one here, with everybody running Janeway, Dr. Gwen, they were all dead by round 4. So Spock down didn't do anything for that last 21 rounds. Burton says, I don't think it will. You're losing a big chunk of isolytic. Here's the thing, though. Well, I am losing a bunch of isolytic there, too. But I'm adding shields. So how long? Yeah. Woo.
The difference between the two 60s when you did one and the other was 10 rounds. 25 was what you lasted with boosting.
Yeah, 15.
Without...
So yeah, the extra shots did not matter. Survivability absolutely matters here. All right, we got Karkin. I'm going to go ahead and pop my ability. Karkin, go ahead and pop yours. I've got Thad, and we need Dave. Is Dave coming? I don't see Dave in chat. Crapola. Dave! Dave's not paying attention. MK, what is your crew? You've got a tier. Yours is tier 3.
Dave's not here, man.
Yeah, I love that game. Dave's not here, man. There's some zombies over the next rise, though. I haven't played Plants vs. Zombies in a really long time. Is my server merging in June? No. My server's never going to get a merge. I've begged and begged and begged. We're never going to get one. Dave.
As long as they merge into us and not we merge into them. I don't want to lose our spot.
TB is a 4. We have any other tier 2s? MK is a 3. Sack is a 2, but he started this one, didn't he? Yep, he started that one. Poopy Duke.
Yeah, but he can send a different ship if he's got time. And,
oh, no, Dave's
move
coming.
his
Okay, Dave's
relativity
coming.
over.
Dave's coming.
Oh,
He's
okay.
here. Okay, good.
All right. Dave saved the day.
It is Dave, man. Do you know where that actually comes from, DJs? Like not some video game.
I thought it was Plants vs. Zombies. Is it not?
Well, that's the parody probably everywhere. It's a Cheech and Chong skit.
I got you.
Dave goes to go to the door and he's like, "Hey man, let me in. It's Dave." And he's like, "Dave's not here, man. Come back later." He's like, "No, it's Dave. Let me in." Dave's not here, man.
Oh,
they need speed ups for this.
Oh, I know. They absolutely need speed ups. For sure. Just taking a look at a couple things in DM here real quick before we come back. All right. We've got 4 minutes. Any other questions? Because I'm probably going to get ready to wrap up after this. We're at 3 hours, and it's almost midnight, and I'd like to get a good night's sleep. Have I done my dailies? No. Why would you guys think I did my dailies? That's ridiculous.
12 minutes. That's okay. Is there any way for a charge to cancel another charge? If you have too many of one charge or anything like that for any kind of charge oppositional actions?
Does not matter. All you're doing is applying a state. There's nothing about it
So just
removing
get them
a state.
both up however you manage.
Yeah, as long as both of them are running, does not matter. Okay? And again, let me be clear for those of you who are curious, we're running both abilities because we have favors that rely on both abilities. So this is getting us extra damage. Okay? The Armada is not necessary for it. Hey, Del Monte. No, not Del Monte. MK, you need to pop an ability, although it doesn't really matter. Because Veska's gonna solo that leg. But just get in the habit. Get in the habit, everybody, to pop both abilities. Veska's going to solo the static legs, so that's great. Well, I mean, he's got people in there, but he'll be able to anchor that. And then we've got Thad, Karkin, Dave, and myself all running the same stuff we did last time. And again, I do apologize for the directives that I've cost you guys tonight. I hope that it's been good learning, and I hope you guys are still getting some loot. Honestly, Karkin and Dave and Thad are just losing on repairs. JB and Veska and Sack are the ones losing out on the Tri-Wizard chest because of their starts. So I apologize.
Were they going to run them anyway? Or just kind of not run them?
Well, no, my
for
team.
however long?
No, my team runs them, but they've been running them with normal ships. So my team does run these. But everybody runs it with normal ships. So that's why I really wanted to buckle down here tonight. Plus, not even that, but if my team sees what the capabilities are here, and I mean, we're running young ships, that's just going to give my team extra motivation to work on these and get them tiered up a little bit because they also have great warp ranges. Listen, we get 12 people running tier 7, tier 8. We're up at the 67s. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're getting loot. We're getting loot. So that's what this thing is all about, is trying to keep that refinery fed. That's going to give us more credits. It's going to give us more ship parts. It's going to get us those officer pulls faster, more loot for more officer pulls, which is obviously the whole point.
What ops are the guys that are running the other legs and like actually spending the directives?
Veska's a 68. Sack is a 61. JB was a 70.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's rough for Sack not getting that chest.
Yeah.
The 68 and the 70, their pulls are so high that even getting the reward chest on these isn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but they're losing.
Right?
They're losing directives. I mean, they're losing starts.
Losing the directives.
Yeah, they're losing starts.
I mean, they're getting a bunch of the other loot for it by anchoring those ones.
Yeah, they're getting
with
temporal
the
wreckage.
relativities.
Yeah, they're getting temporal wreckage, just not the good stuff.
based on how you were running them before, they were probably got a lot of that quote unquote good stuff, and what they need is the temporal wreckage.
Well, that's probably true. All right.
So
30 seconds.
worth it.
Hopefully. Chala, get out of my armada. Oh, he's in the other armada. Okay, never mind. Don't move. Don't move. I was getting ready to say, what the hell's happening? All right, let's make sure I've got my four right. Dave, Karkin, Thad, and me. Okay, good. All right. Well, here we go. Moment of truth time, guys. Moment of truth time. Are we going to kill it? Is Janeway enough? No. Didn't get it.
Didn't do it, eh?
Nope.
Nuts. How'd we do?
What the hell? No, okay. So chat was right. We lost too much. Thank you, Benny Hill. No, that's not RNG Cruzito. That's the loss of Cascade. That's the loss of Cascade. That's Picard, Beverly, Gwen.
There's a massive difference.
Massive difference. We went 17 rounds.
I think I foo-bought this.
So again, I am just squishy. I'm squishy. I am not a good enough anchor for the 60s. Okay? I'm not a good enough anchor.
Can you go into like one of the tail end rounds in the battle log?
Okay.
And how many shots did you lose your shield on the first shots near the end of the fight, or the second or third?
So again, it was just me by round 4.
Yeah.
Interesting. I took no shots in round 4. I still had shields in 5. No, wait. You know, another thing that could have potentially helped me here was
if you put the shield upgrade in before your weapon upgrades.
Well, not only that, but some Apex barrier. I've got 0 Apex barrier on this. That could have helped. Still have shields in round 12.
Yep.
Still have shields in 15.
You got to check the last shot. You'll always have shields on the first shot because of the
regen.
The research. Yeah.
I still have shields on the third weapon of round 17. So
a little bit more shields could have been enough, because instead of taking hull damage on the last shot, you'd be taking 0 hull damage.
Yeah, but I didn't do but 20% hull damage on this thing. So it was not enough. We absolutely needed the massive damage output from Isolytic. I am just not solid enough to anchor a 60. That's the only thing we're learning here. What we do know definitively is Picard, Beverly, Gwen is the absolute best way to kill these things as a starter. You need Gwen and you need the Spock down bug. But even as a starter, Picard, Beverly, Gwen is absolutely the way to go. Isolytic is king. I just don't have the guts about me to solo a 60. All right. Now, I can solo a 57, and that's what you said. That's what you said on stream the other day is, hey, listen, a tier 7 can solo a 57. I'm not strong enough to solo a 60 if I'm running with tier 2s and tier 3s with me. By the time we get these things to 5s and 6s, it'll work. Okay?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not that far off. Isolytic is king. Q-Dog says anchor, but maybe not start. That's another thing.
Yeah.
If I let another Picard Beverly start and then I run,
that big difference. Yeah.
That would have probably made a big difference because there wasn't another anchor that had the Janeway ability. So that's another really, really good one.
Yeah.
All right. It's another really, really good one. So Yeah, listen, I think
that would have made a huge difference.
Would have
'cause
made a
you would've
huge
got the
difference.
boost to Gwen.
And here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to
And
cost my
Janeway on top
armada.
of
I'm
it.
not going to cost my team any other directives. But this stream, if it's done nothing else, has given you guys a ton of ammunition and information to start tweaking this on your own. Okay? Start tinkering with that. Maybe have another starter that runs Picard Bev Gwen so that you can anchor it a little bit down below. I had no Forbidden Text. I had no Chaos Text, Chrono Deflector. I had no Apex Barrier. We weren't running any boosts. Guys, there's absolutely ways to do this. We intentionally only changed one or two variables tonight so that we could give you guys definitive scientific evidence on what is working and what's not working, but use this information, adapt it. But one thing is for certain, the relativity is coming into its own. It is the way to proceed with these armadas. And I'm going to point out, even with all tier 2s and tier 3s, if you fill the team, they were killing 53s. Easy peasy, no sweat. Okay? This is, we had tier 2s and tier 3s that filled out a team of 4 and knocked out that 53. No problem. Everybody free to play should be here right now with a tier 2 or a tier 3, which means everybody should be running relativities against at least the 53s, and you're probably you're days away from killing the 57s reliably. All right. And tier 5s, tier 6s, maybe a tier 7 is what it's going to take to knock on these 60s. All right.
With what crew?
With Janeway, Doctor, and Gwen, with a starter running a Gwen down.
And so I'm just getting you to summarize the very end. So the Janeway down, or the Gwen down crew would be what again?
Picard, Bev, Gwen as a leader.
And then
has
everyone
to be as a
else.
starter.
Okay.
Everybody else running Janeway, Doctor, Gwen. Okay.
Does below deck matter?
Well, sure.
Quick summary. So biggest person has
the starter.
morale and-
The starter needs to have hull breach, and ideally burning. Okay, that would probably help a little bit. Everybody needs to run their own morale. Everybody needs their own crit build, so that would be Viel. Everybody probably needs their own hull repair, which is pick Hugh.
Cool. I just
Yeah.
wanted like the quick summary, which you did pretty good, and then did crew.
Do I know if anyone had Neelix? I don't even know if anybody had Neelix. But again, I don't think Neelix, they were...
That would have required us to stay alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't have mattered. It would have been gone. The benefit would have been gone in 3 runs.
Yeah, so your anchor also needs to be the one. Well, so it can't be starter on hull breach. It's got to be the anchor. The anchor
definitely.
and the starter, if they're not the same, need to both be running B'Elanna.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. The starter always has to run B'Elanna, and if the starter is not your anchor, then the anchor also must run B'Elanna. Baby
If you're
ships.
the anchor and you've only got 3 or 4 slots under deck, probably the most helpful chaos tech for you is going to be the execution post to give you burning if you've got it up at like max.
Well,
And if you have it at all, because it's close to free to play.
if you have 7 below deck slots, then you're the anchor. All right.
Yeah.
You're the anchor. Baby ships aren't going to have that many below deck slots. So, again, baby ships depends also. Listen, we ran a successful test with the anchors on a 57 and everybody else running loot. We ran a successful test there. Here was the 57. We were victorious. I only had 2 people in my leg, and they ran full loot. Well, 3 people if you count me. All right. And in that 57, I ran Janeway Dr. Gwen as the anchor / starter, and I had 2 players with me running full loot. And that was on a 57. So again, it's going to depend on exactly where you fall. All right, exactly where you fall, because there's a large enough gap between the 57 and the 60 to where, you know, if you can't quite take out the 60, then you're probably more than powerful enough to do the 57 with one anchor and let all your littles run loot. You see? So can't.
And that was a victory with less than 1% of the strength of the target.
Strength doesn't matter. It's just like Stella. It's all in the research. It's all in the abilities.
Exactly.
And I didn't even run loot on this, and I got 33,000 wreckage. Again, Tall Bear told us that he scored 16 or 17,000 wreckage, and Karkin got like 2,000, right at 2,000, 1,800 wreckage.
Like 1,900, yeah.
1,900. So.
And then, yeah.
And he's only a G4 player, so that was enough for him. So
it's close. It would take 2, but I guess it's only 2,200, so it's very close. So if 2 of them would probably give me 3, type deal.
Yeah. But yeah, really, really good testing.
Sorry,
and
3 of them would give me 2.
My team, super stand up of you tonight. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you to everybody, all of you.
If you wanted to check one more time, I'm willing to start just literally one leg if you wanted to do it completely by yourself with me, and then see if you can solo it with me boosting DeMarco and you doing the Janeway.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. If anybody else wants to come in, that'd be fine. So what? But
if they want to start their own leg to try and beat it, sure. But if you tell them
we're
going
gonna
to
run another, just the one leg, unless someone wants to start the others in case we win. I may still lose, and I appreciate everyone helping out. I don't want to waste any more directives, but we're going to run another leg. Dave and Thad, are you willing to return to keep our leg the same? That's who we had, right? Dave and Thad?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave, Thad, and you. So if you're the starter, you're going to run Picard, Bev, Gwen, and I'm going to run what I've got. Okay, I'm going to head back. My ISO percentage, I'll tell you in just a second. Karkin is going to start this one. I'll join, and Thad and Dave. If anyone wants to run the other 2 legs, that's fine, just in case we win ours. I'm trying to find a way. All right.
All right, I'm ready to start it. I was just waiting for you to get all your chat in for everything.
Yeah, go right ahead. It looks like Vesca actually just started one.
But it was a little while ago, so there is time for that to finish, and then for people to come if they want. I waited like a good 5 minutes, I think.
No, it looks like they just started one 2 minutes ago.
Oh, I missed that one. Okay, well, let me take a deep breath, wait them 2 seconds.
No, it was 6 minutes ago.
Vesca was filling the 3rd leg, I think, or something.
Yeah, I got
All
you.
right, so I'll start mine.
Okay. Tough says, when you're speaking of applying state for the damage bonus, are you speaking of the Krenum hair stacks? Give me that last sentence right there again. The Krenum favor?
The artifact.
Oh, the strand of Krenum hair. Never even looked at that one. Let's look at that artifact.
Well, like that comes into play too, depending on how high you have it. But no, we were talking about the favors
DTI
in the
favors,
DTI.
yeah. The reason the reason we're applying both states is in the DTI store. We've got event reset lag here. In the DTI store, you've got favors, quantum static disruption and quantum charge disruption or dispersion that simply say when the opponent has the state, It gives you a damage bonus. It doesn't specify invading entity. It doesn't specify formation armada. It just says if you've got static state, you get 2,500% damage bonus. If you've got charged state, you get 2,500% damage bonus. So that basically, if the armada has both states, it doubles up. It gives you 5,000% damage bonus. Now you're only going to get five. You're only going to get those two states. Those are the only ones that count as charged and static when it comes to Krenim.
For that, but isn't the? I think he's talking about the like the Krenim hair. Is that what you guys are talking about?
Well, Krenim hair is just
application.
Well, that's what he's asking about. That
when the
that
thing
gives you
has a
isolated
state,
damage.
it gives you isolated damage. So if you're putting up multiple states,
no.
Will it apply multiple times?
No, this
No,
is if it
just
has
one.
any state. It's just a condition. If it's got any state, then it applies. It will
Gotcha.
not stack. It's not cumulative. This is just applying, in my case, 50% isolatic boost off of any state. And for the record, it is based off the original states. You're exactly right, Shiz. This is not based on, to my knowledge, good question. I will double check. But I don't believe this is going to be applicable to charged and or static. But it doesn't matter because you're running hull breach anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, my interpretation of this are the original states. Morale, burning, hull breach, and assimilated. Assimilated. That does count as one of the core states now. But I got to be honest with you, the way it's worded, charged and static should count.
They should count, but charged and static state are weird because they are not applied to, even though the EXO says it'll apply it to the target and not specifically Krenim, they don't get applied to non-Krenim. And that's why the favors don't work on other targets in the game. They only work on.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure the state itself is only applicable to Krenim. So that makes them kind of weird states. So I don't think that they would trigger that. But again, it doesn't really matter because you're not going to be running this without hull breach anyway. So
yeah. Lifeline says, don't charge and static cancel each other out. That is a very common misconception. I'm surprised at how much we've heard that. No, the answer is no. They are a state that is applied. They do not cancel each other out. They have no effect on each other. It is just applying a state to the target. It's no different than hull breach and burning being applied to a target. They are just conditional states. My isolated damage bonus is 197.5, Cruzito. 197.5 on the relativity.
Well, I think the misconception comes from the fact that you are using the static or charged to negate the enemy's charged or static. So it's not that far of a leap to think, well, my buff might cancel this buff because they are,
I'm just wondering if that's been stated anywhere, because, a lot of people have come into chat with that tonight. That is not the case. All right? They are not an anti-state. No, see, Cookie, this is why this works, okay? They are not an anti-state. They actually apply a state. So, for example, we're in the charged leg, okay? In the charged leg, if we don't run the anti-charged ability, then we die. All right? But the anti-charged ability is not an anti-charged ability. The anti-charge ability actually applies the state of static. Okay? They do not apply, they apply the opposing state to nullify their advantage. So on the charged temporal dreadnought, we are actually applying a static state to this thing. You see what I'm saying? We're applying the state of static. This is why it was so confusing. Back in the early days of this feature, when we were playtesting it, they actually were going to do that. You had to apply the static state to the charged target, and that was how you fought it. We said that's going to be too confusing. So they changed it to charged and anti-charged. But what anti-charged is the original mechanic, which is applying static. Okay? Basically, static cancels out charged for the purposes of the target. Okay? So if this charged target doesn't have the static state, then it's going to kill us. I know, Cruzito, like it's not confusing now, but I'm making it confusing. Listen, I am making it confusing by teaching the mechanic. Charged gets anti-charged, okay? Just trust me on that. However, the other piece of this state system are in these favors. And by the way, this is the only place it comes from. You don't have to run both of these abilities. You don't have to, okay? But knowing how the game works, the anti-charged state is the static state. So you go back and you look at these favors. Increases base damage when the opponent has the static state. There's no conditions there. Not like has static but don't have charge, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? So down here you got static. But you also have this one. Increases base damage when the opponent has the static. Sorry, I clicked the wrong one. And then this one. Increased base damage when the opponent has charged. Okay? The only thing that we are looking at here with this armada is it needs the static state to not fire its deadly weapon. But there are no conditions. Nothing matters if it has the charge state. There's no conditions for that. So if you apply hull breach, burning, and charged, and static, then you're going to get all of those triggers. If you have charge state, you get 2,500% boost. If you have static state, you're getting another 2,500% boost. All right, you're doubling up on that damage. All right, this is our last one. Oh, no, Dave ran a fortification. Shit.
I don't think it'll change much, will it?
Well, it's a max fortify, bro.
Yeah.
Dave had a tier 2 ship, didn't he?
Well, yeah, it's tier 2, but it's still a max fortify.
So he's going to last an extra round until round instead of round 2.
All right. Well,
right?
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, he's going to get extra shots too. It's fine. It's fine. In the first round, in the first one they died all in like round 3, so it doesn't matter. Let's look. Let's make sure.
Well, if you're like almost dead, then we'll assume that you would have died if you didn't do that.
Yeah, look, by round 4, I was the only one alive. In round 3,
I bet it was me. Did I live to the longest?
You did. Karkin lived to round 3. So yeah, max fortify probably not going to make a whole lot of difference. Not enough time. Not enough time. We can't just go home. We only got 40 seconds left. All right. I got Karkin, Dave, Thad, me. We got both abilities rolling. That's great. The other team is taking a chance on our success, and they've activated the other legs. So let's just see how we go. We are focused here on the charged leg. We've changed a crew. I've got Karkin as starter. I'm running Janeway, Doctor, DeMarco to capture Karkin's Gwen down. And I'm running survivability. I'm running my
tier 2 Gwen.
Tier doesn't matter. It's just tier doesn't matter. It's just the bonus.
Let's. Yeah, but...
All right, let's roll. Still didn't kill it.
No.
Not even close.
Not even close.
What the hell is different about this one?
You guys screwed something up.
No?
Oh, Karkin's health stats. Oh no! Wait, no, because he didn't have doctor.
No. Very interesting.
Are you getting the actual down bug from me? Let's check that.
I have
Do you see the increase in your damage.
There's no way they just sneaky fixed it.
No, yeah,
Well, all right,
look,
let's double
no.
check.
I've got 8
We have
billion.
enough data right there
Nah,
to see it.
I got 8 billion isolytic damage.
Okay, now compare with the one where we didn't do a Spock down bug, where you weren't boosted. I guess you still need to see your one with Janeway.
Yeah, it's less than half. Right here is basically 100%.
So I boosted you up. So what happened then? Why did we die? Let's see. How many rounds? Did you not have enough mitigation without having a supercharged Beverly? 11 rounds. That's less than if
17.
whatever.
When 17.
That's less than if you had done the.
Karkin?
Dave, Thad, gone in round 1. Round 2. Round 3. Karkin dies. Everything was the same.
Find me a crit from the Crenum. Find me a crit from the Crenum.
You think it did a supercharge to me?
If Karkin didn't have... Oh, there's one. I thought I saw one.
No.
Didn't have what?
Oh, yeah, okay, no, they're still doing 0 damage, so that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you didn't have Torres, then the research
Oh
would
my
have applied
God.
to. But
well,
but it's still doing-
no. That would have just been.
No, it's still 0. You're good. That wasn't it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna default to. Oh, it was 11 rounds. Yeah, we died much faster. I was. Thank you, Cruzito.
No, it's because Dave was max fortified, obviously.
Max Fortify killed us.
Yeah.
There goes Thad. Karkin.
Does the boost continue
No,
upon my
I
death?
bet. Do you think the Gwen down bug discontinued after Karkin died? Let's look in round 3.
Dude,
No,
doesn't matter.
no.
Usually
I
that's
kept it.
applied at the start of the fight.
Yep, no, I kept it. There it is.
Dave lasted longer, and you took, because of that, you took more damage from the bigger shots that happened later in the round in the early fight.
Well, because
he didn't die faster.
Yeah, the correct answer here, and Lost In's trying to be funny, but he's absolutely right. Is I'm not solid enough to anchor a 60. Okay, we've already proven that the 57s will run with loot. Okay, so I'm just not quite there as a 60. A tier 7's not quite there as a 60. We got to be a little bit more stout there. So I mean that's a very good line in the sand, though. To be honest with you, it's still a very good line in the sand. I'm not going to waste any more directives tonight, but we did find what we needed to find. And
I'm curious why this one is there's so much different than the other one, where you were the booster against the 60, compared to like my ACC is maxed, so I got the 100. So.
I assume your Beverly.
Is there other starter research
I'm assuming
that applies to everybody. Or,
No. I don't. What tier is your Gwen? But tier doesn't transfer. Tier doesn't transfer.
No, tier doesn't transfer.
Tier doesn't transfer.
What were you running below decks, Karkin?
Vale and Kim.
Okay.
All right, so no stats. Yeah, no stats.
100% Kim.
Huh. I don't have an answer. Did you run Doc on your crew?
Not in that one because I was boosting.
Picard Beth.
Yeah. All right.
I got the right Picard, right?
Oh my
You're
god.
so man.
You
No,
are.
I did. I'm kidding.
Wait, Lieutenant Picard.
No,
That's
no,
the
no.
right one, right? Okay. All right. Well, listen, we still have, this is still good testing. We've got good benchmarks. Okay. You got good benchmarks here. You know, through multiple testing, what crews are working and where you're going to be able to run anchors. The 60s are just, I mean, listen, these are big jumps. They're big jumps. So, Tier 7, you're anchoring the 57. You're not anchoring a 60.
The only thing I can see is your mitigation is different. Because if you were running Picard Bev, you have a supercharged mitigation.
Yeah,
You
but
didn't have
Doctor
a supercharged Bev.
Doctor
but
should be
it's
fine. What was
Supercharged, yeah.
Let's check. I mean, my
But only
mitigation should have been fine.
after a shot type, right? You keep going, or it's the only thing I can think of.
After a couple rounds, though, his mitigation is going to be higher with Doctor than with a boost Bev.
I didn't even take a shot in the first round.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's the problem.
Why is that a problem?
Well, I was just.
And nobody takes a shot in round 3. So here we go. I finally took a shot in round 4. No, round 3. Nobody took a shot in round 2. So in round 3.
So with you taking fewer shots in the early rounds,
that also means that Janeway.
Partly
Janeway
because somebody was boosted. So my little joke might be a little bit have had an effect.
Vielle,
You
oh
were
my
getting
crit
more
chance.
mitigation from Doc. From you, your mitigation wasn't growing as fast for Doctor, and your crit chance wasn't.
And I lost
going
crit
up
chance.
either.
Yeah.
So you were dealing way less crits at the beginning.
I
That explains dealing
also
less damage, and
well, no, I was
That
still.
doesn't explain why we died in 11 and not 17 or 25.
That's the Doctor not getting the shots.
Yeah. Well, my mitigation is still maxed.
In the beginning,
the first shot that I took. No. Here was the first shot that I took. In round 3 was the first shot that I took. My mitigation was pitiful. But by the second shot, it's not enough. It's not enough to account for all that. By the second shot, I was at 74. I was at 72%.
Something else going on.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. But again, the line is in the sand. We've got good definitive data. Now, you guys experiment. Work with your team. Work with your group. Make this work for you guys. Max your loot. Get those pulls. Earn those credits. Max the officers. I remind you that DJz Torah and Vielle are both available. Unlimited pulls, no cooldown in the Krenim store. So the more credits you get, the better and faster you get these officers tiered up. And they are fantastic officers for this loop. That's where you need to go. All right. I am good tonight. Matters, excellent stream. Thank you very much. Sizzle says, I've needed this kind of experimenting stream for so long. Relativity is important to low-spend players. Excellent show. And thank you, Matters, for spearheading this whole thing. You have been phenomenal in this research. I know that the Relativity has kind of been your big baby over the last couple of weeks, and it has been phenomenal teaching. Absolutely phenomenal teaching. So thank you so very much. I appreciate that. And thank all of you guys. TJ says, too much work. I'll keep using my 100 billion Borg cube and take all the loot. That's fine. That is certainly a way to do it. But again, you know, there came a point, TJ, where you ran all Stellas. There came a point where you ran Stellas. There eventually is going to be a break point here. Okay? Listen, by the time everybody gets to tier 8, tier 10 on this thing, you'll be running all relativities, even on the 70s. Okay? So there was a time when you were doing this exact same thing over in Outlaw Space. It will pass. It'll pass. All right? Mimi says relying on Doc for mitigation was a pretty big mistake. We needed to look more below deck, either Walk McCoy or Tom Paris. And, yeah, that first shot, yeah, it was extra 200 million damage every 2 rounds because there's no shots from the Armada every other round, so Doctor resets, which is a good point. It is a good point. So Doctor might not have been the best mitigation agent there. So, but Definitely some good stuff there. Lots of cool, geeky science. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you all so very much. Again, matters huge. Round of applause for you. Nicely done. And there's the relativity, guys. Much more interesting than what originally first meets the eye, all right? Bottom line is continue to invest in this thing. Work the grind. Get those credits. Get the officers. Upgrade the ship. You got a long way to go. And it is quite valuable within this loop. Get the event store parts. Absolutely. I got to consider now, Tarpy, going and buying relativity parts with my event store loot now, where I might not have been considering that before. It's going to be absolutely helpful. Guys, we're going to continue the learning here inside Star Trek Fleet Command by heading on over to Cree. Oh, it's Cree, and she is also grinding STFC. You guys can continue the science, the learning, and the Star Trek Fleet Command right over there. You guys send my love to Cree and her family. Thank you guys so very much. My name is UltimatDJz. I'm your friendly neighborhood cat person, Sam. Yeah, for now, love you, man, to catch you Thursday night for Talking Trek podcast taping. See you then. Maybe tomorrow, not promising. It depends on Oliver, but we'll see how it goes. Definitely on Thursday. All right. Love you guys. Have a great night. Good night.